Hey everybody, an all-new edition of Craft Brewed Sports starting up here in just a second. This week, doing things a little bit different now that we're at episode number 200. We each have our own beers of the week this week. So, Drew, let's go to you first. Why don't you tell us what your beer of the week is? What are you drinking? Tell us a little bit about it. And since Ren and Stimpy is coming back, it was announced they're rebooting it. We are doing our beer scale tonight on the Ren and Stimpy scale, all the way from no sir, I don't like it, all the way to happy, happy, joy, joy. So, Drew, what are you drinking tonight?
So I'm actually getting a little caught up with you boys when I screwed up and grabbed the wrong beer a while back, and I'm drinking the
on brand.
Yep, that's fair. The French word Neapolitan Stout from City Brewing. I want to. I don't want to pronounce that word because I'm just going to sound like an idiot. But I'm looking forward to it. It promises layers of strawberry, cocoa, lactose, and Madagascar vanilla bean, which I gotta be honest, I don't know how they're different than any other vanilla bean, but it smells like there's a lot to offer in this one. So I'll hold off while I Google Ren and Stimpy episodes to figure out what kind of options I have, because it's definitely not happy, happy, joy, joy. Let's just, again, I don't like to jump that far too early, but we'll see how it holds up.
Fair enough. Scott, what do you got in your cup tonight?
This week I'm drinking Aggravated Murder by Bombastic Brewing, and this one comes in at 14.5%.
Uh-oh, Scott's getting hammered.
Oh, yeah, it's on and popping.
Buddy.
I am on vacation, and I'm getting kicked off right. It is an Imperial Breakfast Stout, going against the naysayers that say you can't drink stouts any time of the year. Y'all can suck it. It is stout season anytime you want a beer. And this one is funny because it's got ravens on it. And with the Aggravated Murder title, I actually think that it might be a dig at Ray Lewis. And even if it's not, I'm treating it as one. So cheers to Bombastic Brewing for making this a sports-related beer. And on the scale that we're using tonight, I'm going to go with Stimpy, you stupid idiot. And I don't even know where that is, but I'm just going to say for right now, to start off, it's middle of the road because it seems as if it's going to be good, but I'm a little afraid because it doesn't taste like 14.5%.
Ooh, that's scary.
I know. I was going to say I'm a little bit apprehensive, so we'll see how it holds up, but that's where I'm starting.
That's a bit scary. This week I am drinking Cloud Curtain, which is a double dry hop Galaxy double IPA. This is oat whip. I don't know exactly what oat whip means. They got like oat in the mash along with some lactose. This one's from Mountains Walking Brewery, 8.5% brew. I'm going to say that this one, as of right now, is don't whiz on the electric fence. That's where this one falls in the Ren and Stimpy scale. Pretty high up. It's pretty high up there. Let us know below what you guys are drinking tonight. Give it a rating on the Ren and Stimpy scale, all the way from no sir, I don't like it, all the way to happy, happy, joy, joy. All new edition of Craft Brewed Sports starting up right now. It is a very important week for me personally. I turn 36 tomorrow. I have my 10-year wedding anniversary on Friday, but neither of those comes anywhere near what I'm really celebrating this week, and that is
Arsenal FA Cup champions, baby! Woo, woo, woo.
Mute him for a second. This is episode number 200, everybody. Episode number 200 of Craft Brewed Sports. I can't believe we've made it 200 episodes. This show has been through a lot. A couple of times I didn't know. We've been through kids. We've been through breaks. We've been through all kinds of stuff, and we're still here, still getting drunk, and
We're still standing. We're still strong.
Bro, there's still a global pandemic going on, and we're still here. Like...
absolutely
I can't wait
crazy.
till the next time there's a lockout. We're like, really? Like that's the shit you're worried about? Come on now. Give us something hard.
Thank you guys for tuning in. Thank you for sharing out the show. Help us out. Get us in front of everybody. We got an awesome show for you guys tonight. We are going to talk some, we're going to have Scott do that hockey. We got fire or dumpster fire that we're going to bust out tonight, talking some athlete tattoos. And we're also going to give you all the sports news that's going on this week. So be sure to hit share. As we mentioned at the top of the show, tune in or comment below. Let us know what you're drinking. Rate it on the Ren and Stimpy scale, all the way from no, sir, I don't like it, all the way up to happy, happy, joy, joy. Scott, you ready to tap this keg of sports knowledge?
You pump, I'll pour.
I had to bring it back for 200. I had to bring it back.
I had to pause there for a moment because I'm like, he brought it back and he surprised me. And I definitely didn't forget my line, but I was like, oh man, he snuck that one in. I like that.
I had to do it for you. Also, since it's 200, let's get into, we're going to do On Deck, but On Deck, we got a new sponsor for On Deck this week, everybody. You boys making big moves. This is why we're doing 3 separate beers tonight. Our beers are provided by Beer Drop. Listen, everybody, if you want craft beer delivered directly to your door, all you got to do is hit up Beer Drop. Plans start off at $39 a month. That's under $4 per serving. Our friends at Beer Drop can hook you up. Fill out your flavor profile, sign up for one of their monthly plans, and they will curate a box of fresh, award-winning craft beer that will be sent right to your door. You can swap out your beers, add more, or skip a month. And also, if you don't like commitment, you can just shop the beers that they have there. Flat rate, $5 shipping. It's absolutely awesome. Go and order. Go to craftbrewsports.com/sponsors and click on the tab for Beer Drop. Fill out your profile today and get some beer sent your way. All right, fellas. I believe we got Scott leading us off in Upper Deck or On Deck today. I think, right? Yes, we do. So Scott, you, sir, for episode number 200, you are leading us up. You're on deck.
Thank you, sir. And I'm going to keep with the story and league that keeps on giving. It's the NBA bubble. That's right. It's back and on deck this week for me. And this time we're talking about actual games, which is weird as shit. I haven't watched a single minute of any of the NBA games, and that's not because I haven't wanted to. It's because I don't really care until the playoffs start. It's just like the regular season under any other circumstances. But my story this week is awesome because the Nets pulled off one of the biggest upsets in NBA history. In fact, the biggest upset since 1993. They were 18.5-point underdogs, which isn't the part of the story that I give a crap about because the Nets beat the Bucks and yada, yada, yada. Bucks are supposed to be maybe Eastern Conference champions, whatever. More importantly, the Nets beat the Bucks because they were hanging out at the pool in the bubble and they happened to be there with the Rockets. And the Rockets were like, hey, you're playing the Bucks. Here's some tips on how to beat the Bucks. And then the Nets went out and did that. Now, those of you who don't know anything about the NBA, the Nets are like a JV team. Like their roster consists of guys I've never even heard of. And I did that story last week with what's his name, the shotguns the beers, and I didn't even know he's not even on the Nets. Like I can't even remember his name now, but I looked at the Nets roster and it's like, who are these guys? Like it's not even guys that you've heard of, like that made NCAA tournament.
It's the new Miami Marlins roster, basically.
Right. Yeah. So, basically they had no business beating it out. People will point to the fact that the Bucks are managing the minutes of like Giannis and some of their other star players, but and then they only played in the first half, but that's no excuse because 18.5-point underdogs and these dudes did it. But the Rockets, what do the Rockets have to gain by this? That's the funniest part because the Rockets are in the Western Conference and they're worried about helping the Nets in the Eastern Conference beat the Bucks. Like it's just some straight up hate. But you'd imagine just sipping Mai Tais by the pool and being like, oh, hey, here's how you beat Giannis. It's not that big of a deal. He may be MVP, but the team's actually easy to beat.
So that's what I'm wondering about, though. Do you think they gave them their best material? Or do you think they're like, all right, so here's like 3 or 4 strategies we know we got unlocked to beat them. But like, I'm not sure if this strategy would work or if like, this defensive set worked. Do you know? I'm just saying, do you think they're trying out their mid-range strategies?
No. There was no
they gave them the good
legit.
stuff?
No, there was no legit basketball knowledge sent. It was just Harden and Westbrook. They're some bitches. Giannis is a bitch. He's foreign. He'll back down. He's mentally weak. All you got to do is hit a bunch of threes. You'll be fine. And they did. They shot 57 threes and made 21 of them. So
holy
So you're
cow.
saying they took the Dan Dockage approach. He's got weak eyes. Weak eyes. He's soft.
Well, not only that, it's like you guys are a bunch of guys that we've never even heard of. Like this is the Rockets. Like we've never even heard of you. So there's no way that they have. So they probably won't pay attention. They'll let you wide open from 3. You might as well just keep chucking them. What's the worst that you can do? miss them.
I
It's not like it wouldn't be any other
'Cause
day, but they
You're
made
here for the
21,
shorties. Come on.
and they won by 3. So yeah,
It was like
Getting
one of the
tips
biggest upsets
Liverpool.
of the season, and possibly like all time with that line that they had with how favored Milwaukee was in that game. But I just love there was concern about the bubble going into it, where they were like, we might see the next super team come out of this, because like super teams have formed because players played together on Team USA and they were together and they became friends, and then outside they were like, all right, now we're a team. So they were worried that the bubble might create a super team. Nobody predicted that the bubble was gonna bring about some collusion that brings down the Bucks. I love it. That's so genius, man. Big fan. Brian Berkland saying flopping on every single possession is considered game strategy now. Fake news. Houston is trash.
I mean, Houston is mostly trash, but the fact that they're just sitting there by the pool. Anybody want some tips on how to beat the Bucks? We got them. But of course, the funniest part of that is think of last year in the playoffs when they lost that against the Warriors, when they should have won that game. And what did they do? Miss all those damn threes in that game 6, which forced that game 7. So the irony that they were probably like, oh yeah, all you got to do is make a bunch of threes. And the Nets are probably sitting there like, didn't y'all miss a lot of threes when it counted most?
Well, right. But we said you got to make them. Like that's the catch. Like
That's
you
the
know,
key. Like you actually have to hit them.
you can't just throw them up. You got to actually make them. But you know, if we could hit them, we would have won. That's what I'm saying.
So the real pro tips were just make shots.
That's how you win a basketball game.
Yeah, score more
Turns
points
out
than
it's not that hard.
Yeah,
that is in depth.
it's kind
In
of
fact,
crazy.
I can guarantee you that at the end of the game, if you make more shots than the other team, you will win the game.
Not necessarily.
I know. I just wanted
Okay.
to throw that out.
Okay, cool. Ed from Pardon the Punctuation, the ever Bearcat fan pointing out Kenyon Martin played for the Nets, so be careful talking trash about the Nets.
Like 900 years ago.
And JB saying we've got community standards now. I don't know what that refers to.
There are no community
but
standards around.
yeah, this show has no community
Community like the
standards.
sitcom, because I'm about to get into that.
You know, I do have some standards when it comes to community, because that's a damn good show.
Yeah.
Drew,
Cool.
Drew, you sir are on deck.
Charge. So I ventured a little bit out of my lane this week to pick up this story because it was just too damn good to pass up. And I saw the link scrolling through various, websites looking for stuff, looking for content. And I was like, okay, that's funny. That's a great joke. And it started off with one article that said, WWE star Marty Jennetty posts troubling Facebook message about the first time he made a man disappear. And I chuckled. I'm like, well, yeah, because he's a wrestling star. Like, naturally, he made someone disappear at one point. And I kept scrolling because, who really cares about Marty Jennetty and his what's that thing called? Mullet. There you go. Got it eventually. I don't know about you, Scott. This 10%'s creeping up on me. I don't know how you're going to hold up with that 14.5, but
It's got me feeling warm and giggly.
you feel a little toasty. And it's nice and cool outside, too.
I also
so.
didn't eat dinner, so this is going to be
Oh yeah, same
interesting.
here. I didn't even finish lunch, so it was gonna be a great night. So later on down the page, it then said police open investigation after former WWE wrestler. I was like, okay, well, shit, I
What?
clearly got to read this now. So apparently, Homeboy posted on Facebook, because there's no better place to air out all your skeletons, pun not intended but appreciated, than Facebook. And I'm just gonna read this verbatim as best I can while doing my best to not offend. But dude says, I never told no one this, even my brother Gino, because Gino would have killed him. I didn't want my brother gone. Hell, he'd only recently home from Vietnam. 2 words. I was 13 working at Victory Lane's bowling alley buying weed from a gay slur that worked there, and he put his hands on me. He dragged me around to the back of the building. You already know what he was going to try to do. New paragraph, because he was formatting amongst all the other multiple periods he was using.
I like how you screened yourself this time.
Yeah, well done.
right.
Well
Yeah.
done, Drew. Good catch.
We're on air
Good
here.
catch.
We've got standards, not community standards, but standards. That was the first time I made a man disappear. They never found him. They should have looked in the Chattahoochee River. But Winnie, the girls in these pics, I likes you so damn. And then he goes on to talk about this chick. I don't know why. I don't know how these two topics relate, but clearly this all makes sense because dude sued the WWE for brain trauma and hiding what that could do to himself moving forward. But guy posted on Facebook And now the Columbus Police Department down in Georgia is investigating him and this cold case, dredging up the river and such to try to find this body after a dude straight up admits to making a man disappear, even so far as giving them exactly where to look. Now, I'm going to be honest, it's a river, so it's probably fairly long, but it's a river near a town, like, it can't be that hard. And all I got to say, man, is if you had Criminal Minds or NCS in this case, bro would already be locked up.
Okay, so on one hand, it's like, clearly CTE, right? On the other hand, I'm like, dude, what is up with Marty Jennetty? Like, okay, let's back this up for a second. Do you think he really made somebody disappear? He said he was 13 years old. So at 13 years old, you think he killed a man and then threw him in the...
Yes.
Also, does that make it so much weirder now to think about the Rockers? Like, I used to love the Rockers when they were in the WWF, and like him and Shawn Michaels, they had their like the tassels around their biceps.
Why would you feel differently? You had to know those dudes were crazy.
No, well, I knew they were on like coke and stuff, but I didn't realize they were murdering people at 13 years old. That's pretty ridiculous.
Look, man, you've seen Always Sunny when they pull in their ringer wrestler guy, right? Which again, now I'm feeling like my
Roddy. Yeah,
there you go. I was gonna say my CT is sneaking up on me because I can't remember shit as far as names.
R.I.P.
But like,
R.I.P. Roddy.
But yeah, I mean, you saw that dude, and you had to go, wow, how many of these guys are there that don't make it to the league, if you will?
That's a good point.
None of these dudes are normal.
Can somebody?
Here's the thing:
everyday hitman.
I'm gonna go out there. I'm gonna say actual pro athletes, because yes, wrestling is a very strenuous physical activity, but it's a little bit theater, a little bit athletic endeavor. They're nuts. Tom Brady's insane.
Well, that's what I want to. I want to call up Ryan Nemeth now, and I want to get his opinion on this and find out how many bodies he knows, like where are the bodies buried, literally, Ryan, because clearly dudes are 13 years old murdering people, and he didn't say that at all when he was on this show. Like, he talked about sexual assault and like all this other. Okay, fine, there are people killing people and you're not going to bring that up, bro? Come on. And Biscuit bringing up
people are killing people, you don't flap your mouth because you're about to get killed.
That's a good point. Snitches get
Ford
stitches
movie with that little Amish boy.
That's a good point.
Aggravated murder has taken a weird turn.
Oh, sorry, Scott.
By the way, Biscuit pointing out Marty said that was the first time he made somebody disappear, not the only time. So take what you will about that one. And yes, Scott saying Ryan Nemeth is awesome. You can always bring that guy back. Absolutely. Nemeth was a great interview. All right. I will close out on deck as soon as I can find the tab that I was on. Here we go. All right, fellas. So do you guys remember Elijah Moore from Ole Miss? You guys remember that wide receiver? He played for Ole Miss a while back. They were playing Mississippi State. Ole Miss scored. Elijah Moore scored a late touchdown that brought Ole Miss within 1 point, and he celebrated the touchdown by doing the famous dog peeing in the end zone move.
Oh yeah, I remember that.
Yeah.
I didn't know he had a name.
You should have let off that.
Well, it cost Ole Miss 15 yards. It backed up the extra point attempt. They missed the extra point and ended up losing the Egg Bowl by 1 point, all because of that penalty. It ended up costing the Ole Miss coach's job. Like, it was a big to-do that this happened.
You're gonna get fired anyways.
Well, yeah, but if you win the Egg Bowl, it's kind of like Ohio State, Michigan. You win that game, they give you some leeway. They're like, oh, okay, fine.
See, when you said the Egg Bowl, I immediately thought that it was just another one of those 50 bowl games before the.
Oh no! This is the
this is one of those stupid rivalry bowl.
Yeah,
names.
Right,
Gotcha.
Exactly. So back up a little bit here. Mississippi recently agreed to remove the Confederate flag from their state flag. It's been on there for a long time, so they voted, and the OWGs actually said, "Yep, let's go ahead and take that down." So they got rid of that as their state flag. And in what we have come to find is a horrible idea, they opened it up to the public for ideas on a flag. They got over 2,000 submissions for what they should do with their flag. Somebody decided to submit. The only guidelines around it were it's not allowed to have the Confederate flag on it, and it has to have the words "In God We Trust." And people did.
So how many noose submissions did they get? Is the question.
There may have been
I
some.
said news.
No.
It's new.
They're like, oh, they're gonna take
Poorly.
away my flag. Well, I'll show them "In God We Trust." Noose.
I mean, honestly, Scott, how many of those people could actually use a computer?
I didn't say anything about that.
Yeah, there were some hand-drawn ones. There was also one
They
where
can use
somebody
their flip phones to take pictures of the nooses they keep in their garage.
there was
I was
jeez.
gonna say construction paper and crayon.
There was one where they took the Confederate flag that was in the corner of the Mississippi flag, like they left it all the same, and they just tilted the Confederate flag so that instead of the cross, it was like just up and down cross. Like it was the exact same thing, only they tilted it. It was like a 45-degree turn, and they were like, see, it's not the Confederate flag anymore. But somebody, most likely a Mississippi State fan, went ahead and submitted a submission with Elijah Moore's penalty as the flag, using a rainbow word art text that says "In God We Trust." I've put that on the screen for everybody. That's what somebody wants the Mississippi State flag to be. I don't care about state flags. I don't ever like pay attention to them. This needs to be the state flag. I don't care what it takes. This has to happen.
Oh, no, they missed an opportunity. When you were explaining this, I thought that he was peeing the words "In God We Trust" in rainbow letters. That would have been a winner.
Yeah, no, I actually did too. The way you described it, I thought there was rainbow coming from the, what would be his genitalia.
They should have
"In
done
God
that.
We Trust" on the rainbow.
That would have been a way better way to do that instead of the way that they did. But I love this idea of Elijah Moore peeing in the end zone as the state flag for Mississippi. Somebody needs to make that happen. I don't know who's on the committee. They need to make it happen. This has been On Deck, brought to you again by Beer Drop. craftbrewsports.com/sponsors. Click on the tab for Beer Drop. Get $5 flat shipping no matter how much beer you order. Sign up today. Get beer delivered monthly to your door with Beer Drop.
You know what the best part about Beer Drop is that you can sign up for that crate program, right? And so it's like, oh yeah, you get this much beer every month, and you can tell your wife like, yeah, babe, I just pay this $50 or whatever every month, and like this is the beer that shows up. So when Beer Drop shows up with 80 beers, like, oh no, is this great promotion they're running? Like it was still $50. Like I had points because, I really participated well in IPA week and stuff like that. And she don't know what you've been doing.
They do have a rewards
she
program.
listens to the show and you're busted.
Scott, none of them listen. We've covered this.
Yeah.
I know, but there's that one-off chance.
I'm willing to risk it.
Tune into this segment of the show. Yeah, very possible. All right, fellas, let's stick to sports. That's what everybody wants. They want to stick to sports. Let's stick to sports. Let's talk. Let's do some basketball first because there's not much. I mean, the bubble's going on. The Lakers get the 1 seed. The only thing that I saw that was kind of interesting out of the NBA this week, so they've got their virtual fans. It's like a Zoom meeting around the court. I don't know if you've seen any of the games. But
only the NBA has that? Interesting.
No, I'm just saying the NBA has that. It was just a statement of fact. The NBA has that. I never said only the NBA has that, but they've got all these fans.
Thought of it first.
At some Jesus Christ. At some point, there was a tweet that somebody zoomed in on a fan in the stands, and it looked like a woman had flashed during the game, and they were trying to track down and find this woman and figure out who it is. If it was really I don't know if she really did, but that was a thing that's been floated around the Twitterverse that somebody flashed as a virtual fan.
Oh man!
I hope that it was our good friends that flashed them titties for the publicity stunt.
Oh yeah,
Super Bowl. I hope it was them. I hope they're getting back out there and not letting COVID get them down.
You know what the best part's going to be though is when it was someone wearing one of those T-shirts that just has like the naked human painted on it.
It very well could be something like that. Very well could be something like that.
Yeah.
But the Lakers get the 1 seed. Does it even matter? Like, does seeding even matter in the NBA playoffs this year?
No, it does, and it only matters because of the fact that the Lakers, and this is one of the ones I didn't burn earlier, but I'm gonna throw it in there. The Lakers actually pre-recorded every single introduction for every permutation of their lineup for the bubble. Scott, we were talking about this pre-show before I think you signed on, and so the Lakers had their announcer record every possible lineup for their starting lineup while they're in the bubble so they could use that as their like home court advantage. But it gets better because those petty ass fools also recorded the intro that they play at home where dude reads off all of their friggin' accolades and does it in the sense of, and now celebrating their 60th year in Southern California's 72nd year in the NBA franchise was 23 Pacific, blah, blah. did all that, and they actually went back and re-recorded that segment and then spliced it into all those permutations to include they got the 1 seed in the West in this year's playoffs.
Wow.
This is why people hate the Lakers.
Yeah, this is it. This is exactly why people hate the Lakers. You're 100% right, Scott. Good Lord, that's annoying. Cool. All right. Well, good for the Lakers. Anthony Davis doing his best to drag LeBron to another finals and get him one closer to Jordan there.
I can't wait till Russ and Harden are sitting by the pool. It's like, yeah, I mean, if you want to beat the Lakers, you just got to kick them in the dick. Just dick for everybody.
Is Draymond there?
Because if you kick them in the dick, they can't shoot the ball.
Wait, Draymond?
They're just sitting by the pool, unsolicited advice to anybody who's walking by. Hey, you trying to beat the Lakers? Who are you?
Oh my God! Podcast segment idea. Russ and Harden sitting by the pool.
Oh,
That's all it is. Just Russ and Harden sitting by the pool, just chatting,
Just hating.
just chopping it up.
Just
like,
hating.
all right, guys.
Hey,
I think we could do some Craft Brew Sports Theater next week on Russ and
Yes,
Harden
sir.
sitting by the pool.
and it'll be totally factual based on real things that happened.
We'll make that work. Let's talk a little
Yes,
football.
sir.
Let's talk a little football. The big story this week in football. The XFL is back. Triple XFL now, I guess.
For the third time.
Yeah, the 3 XFL is back. The Rock is part of a group with his ex-wife and some venture capital.
I did not see that note.
But to be honest with you, this should totally come back as the triple XFL. Like it should, like,
Definitely.
that should be the
So Vin
Also,
Diesel
Vin Diesel,
is like-
yes.
Yeah, I was gonna say so. Vin Diesel
no,
is the
no,
mascot,
no, no.
or
So then, I mean, you have to Google the XXX, and then it's like, oh, here's where you. No. I didn't get to put the FL. No.
dude, you know what the worst part is? I'd probably end up doing that shit on my work machine at some point on like a conference call share, and I'd be like, fuck. I'd be like, no, I was doing show research for this thing that I don't want you to know about either. Actually, now that we mentioned it, moving on.
But I missed that part of the story too, the whole ex-wife thing. But him and his ex-wife are like really good, like friends. Like they're really cordial with one
He
another.
needs to
They've
talk
done
to his
other
buddy Dr. Dre then, and
They've
help
had
him out
other
before things go bad.
business ventures together. So
Yeah, she is.
Oh.
She's now the first. I think she's the first female owner of a sports league ever. Like she's the first female to be an owner of the sports league. Also, they paid $15 million for it, which I don't understand why The Rock needed his ex-wife and a venture capitalist group to come up with $15 million. Like,
Mikey, come on now. You know how this works. You just want to diversify the risk across a larger group, right? Like you get yourself a small slice in the early days, and then you let all the OWGs put up their money so that when shit goes south, you're like, hey, I had a writer on all those marketing sales, so like, fine by me.
Yo, friend of the show, Matt Stanton, with the comment of the show so far. The new slogan for the triple XFL
buddy,
is taking another whack at it.
So is their first corporate sponsor KY or Vaseline?
Dude, that is golden.
oh, well done, Matt Stanton. Well done. Woo, that's
Someone
good.
give that man a prize. What
Also,
we got?
I want to give a shout out to our buddy Chris America. Chris America pointed out when this story went in the Craft Root Sports Facebook group, he pointed out, how does it feel if you're Vince McMahon knowing you sold off like all of those shares of your company in order to bring the XFL back, only to turn around and watch it be bought by a former employee for $15 million? Like he had to sell off half of his shares of his company. He would like invested so much in that, goes bankrupt, and then The Rock just sweeps in, is like, yeah, I got 15 mil. I got this. Don't worry about it. Like,
I mean, you're basically assuming that the steroids haven't eaten away his brain so much that he actually knows what's happening. Like Vince ain't in touch right now.
We all
like,
saw
come
that,
on.
that initial presser that they had for the XFL announcement coming back, where it was like, is Vince all right? Like he seemed dead.
the
Dead
XFL
behind
is
the
coming
eyes.
back. What cities are you guys going to? To be determined.
We don't know anything.
All we know
Vince
is
the
that people
modern-day
will stand.
embodiment of Weekend at Bernie's. Like they're making use of all the technology we have right now to roll that bro out, so they don't have to deal with like executing his will and all that crap. Like it's God that. I would love to see that dude's liver.
Oof.
This also just goes to show that, as I've stated many times over the years, The Rock is greater than any other wrestler during the Attitude Era, up to and including Stone Cold. Come at me.
Dude,
Man, he said come at me. He
I mean,
didn't
I
even
don't
say,
know.
"Don't at
I don't know
me."
because we don't know how many people The Rock has killed. Like, he might not
Oh,
have.
you know there's some bodies buried. There's no doubt.
I feel like The Rock wouldn't kill anybody. He would just like make them feel. He would just emasculate somebody really bad.
Remember the fanny pack rock pick?
That's
from
true.
college, his college days. That dude put some bodies somewhere.
Well, speaking of college days, Scott, you found a story
Good work. Yeah,
about your
let's go forward.
backdrop too here that kind of plays into this story that you had found.
Yeah. I'm here live at Colorado State, the hotbed for college football, if you will, one of the Power 5 schools that is always in contention for national titles, which makes it so shocking and weird and just I can't fathom it that the program got investigated by one of the local newspapers because there was whispers coming out of the program that they were covering up all of the COVID tests by the players, and apparently at least 19 players had missed a practice earlier this summer, and they didn't release any reasons why. And there's rumors and there's anonymous sources. Of course, there's like 10 players and coaches who wouldn't put their names on it, but were saying that they were being encouraged not to, if they had any symptoms, to not report it. If they had any symptoms that, if they missed practice, that they weren't to say, that it was because of COVID or anything. And that if they somehow did, they would lose playing time. Of course, Colorado State released a statement and, the athletic department or the athletic director was like, hey, look, whatever happens with the football program, I don't know. We haven't said that they should do anything.
Throw
like
that coach right underneath that bus. AD, good work.
We haven't said anything like that. Whatever's going on over there, you have to talk to them. But then you also, of course, had players. I believe it was their quarterback. Tweeted something. He's got a weak immune system, and he was saying, I haven't seen anything like that, and I would be the first to let everybody know because my immune system is compromised and all this other stuff. But it's pretty damning evidence that there's all these people saying, hey, they're trying to cover it up here and pretend like it's not happening, even threatening us with playing time. And apparently there was one kid that I believe was a wide receiver, practiced with symptoms. And then, after the practice was like, yeah, I mean, I had to practice because I didn't want to lose playing time just because I was sick.
Well, so that's the thing that I feel like isn't stated enough when it comes to these teams coming back and college football coming back and this pressure to like get everything going again is these kids, whether or not it's said, it feels like it's understood that it's like, if you're not here for these voluntary workouts, it's going to look bad on you. So we're going to hold that against you when it comes to playing time. If you're not here for practice, if you're not putting in the reps, there's somebody that's going to step up and take that job from you. And like, unless your name's Trevor Lawrence, I feel like all of these coaches feel like these kids are just interchangeable.
Wait, who?
Right? Sunshine? Sunshine.
Oh,
sorry.
Sunshine.
My bad.
Yeah,
I should use his correct name. But it's like these kids are forced to do this. And again, even if it's not explicitly said, like, look, don't report it if you have symptoms. These are college kids. They're going to try to do whatever they can to make it to the next level or keep that playing time, or they don't want to lose their scholarship, whatever it is. They're dumb. They're going to do that kind of stuff and hide this from their coaches because we've built this thing of you got to be tough. You got to play hurt. You got to play through an injury. And it's like, well, I got a cough. I can still play. If I go up to my coach, I'm like, I got a cough. He's going to call me a pussy and tell me to get back out on the field. Like that's just the culture that's been built around football. So I'm not surprised at all about this.
It's not just football. It's all of sports. Like it is. Like let's just call it what it is. The only
not golf. My golf coach was never like that.
No, that's because they wanted you off the course, bro. Like that's different. Like they only brought you out when they're like, all right, it's gonna be a long shot here. Our best option is to throw Berlin against their number one and get him DQ'd.
Berlin, see if you can get this guy to tell you what club he's swinging.
Exactly. Right. Like that was your role on the team, right? You know what I mean? But that's what sports is in America, and I can only comment on America because I've never played sports in another country. I've beaten other countries, suck at Canada, but it's just the way things are, and it's not just football. Like it's one of those things too with like it happens in hockey. It doesn't happen in baseball because they're soft as eggshells, but like whatever.
This guy, Scott. This guy.
Oh, I'm
Always with
I'm throwing all the fire out there.
always
right
the
now.
digs.
As I sit
Always
here and
the
watch
digs.
these shit ass Penguins come back and go up 2-1 on Montreal, but it's fine. Whatever.
Well, and
Refs
here's
just
the thing: we're gonna
bending over all day.
this kind of ties into one of the stories we're about to get into in a second about, these players, these college kids, like forming these coalitions and these groups and basically taking a stand and saying, hey, we're not going to play. We're going to do this. I mean, you got Patterson at TCU apologizing because he dropped the N-bomb. We're like in this really
So actually, is that what he did? Because I read the article and the quote, they said didn't have him drop the N-bomb. He called the kid an effing brat. But that maybe they didn't quote the full thing.
No, so from what
from the further I read on it, it seemed like and I again, maybe I didn't get part of it too, but it's like after that, it was apparently that like he suspended a kid or told a kid he couldn't practice because he said niggas in like the locker room or in the practice room or something like that. And it was
That's
fact
what
that
it sounded like, but yeah.
But so I was like, so did he really drop the N-bomb or was he just saying, here's what you said? So this was like, it was confusing, but either way, but in this time period where we're talking about COVID and then, everything blowing up with Black Lives Matter and everything, it's like, we're in this really weird vacuum where these players in college have more power than they've ever had. And I mean, it's weird to see that there's still some that are so dedicated to like the structure of the way college sports have worked for so long, and then there's the other ones that are like, man, you know what, I'm gonna skip this season because I don't care.
But it's different here, and I'll let Mike give his wrong take here in a second, but like it's different because remember when Northwestern tried to unionize, right? What was that, like 4 or 5 years ago?
I got on WCPO.
I thought it was
for
like
that.
2 years ago.
I got on WCPO for that. Scott sent a cameraman out to talk to me about that. I talked to that dude for 10 minutes, and the quote he used on the 11 o'clock news was, I don't know, it's a slippery slope. And that was it. That was the only quote that he used.
But you know what, though, at the same time, that's the one of the best Burlon's sound clips right there. Like, that's a solid drop.
I had and this
I don't know, it's a slippery slope.
This was back when I was against players getting paid, and I admit I was wrong, but I had
you're still wrong about that.
Thought out.
Okay.
Well, I've changed my stance on that. I've come to realize that I was wrong, but I had thought out arguments.
Players get paid, and that's wrong, but we can get into that in a second.
What? Wait.
Yeah.
What?
Let's go. Ready?
Hold on. Wait. Are you pro kids not getting paid in college?
No, I'm not pro kids. I'm pro kids being able to use their likeness, but I'm not pro of athletic departments paying kids because they can't afford it. What we're seeing right now is the economics of college sports are so razor thin that they can't take on any more obligations and pay kids. Now what they can do is let kids go and do that deal with the local Skyline or go ahead and get a deal with the local, car shop or whatever. But they can't afford, dude, there's going to be so much fewer college sports next year because there's going to be so many teams going under just by not being able to play.
I understand that for some of these smaller schools like Colorado State, and that's, I'll get back to my point about them here in a second, but when the highest paid public figure in most states is a college football coach, you can't tell me their profits are razor thin. They just are directing the money to the wrong people. You're directing it to Nick Saban. You're directing it to Bill Sweeney. You're directing it to whoever's coaching at Ohio State now. I don't even know his name, but like when Urban Meyer was there, he was the highest paid public employee in Ohio. Don't pay your coaches millions and millions of dollars and give some of that to the players.
So
I mean, you can't.
It's the same problem we see in baseball, and it's the same problem we see with NFL quarterbacks, right? Like, there's no reason that what's his name down in Jacksonville, old Uncle Rico, should be getting $20 million a year, but that's what the market will bear for someone in that position. There's no reason we should be paying $500 million for Mike Trout, but that's what the market will bear. And so the problem is if you try to say, okay, you know what, I'm not going to pay William Sweeney $5 million a year. I'm going to pay him what he's worth economically to the university and pay him $750,000. Someone else is going to swoop in and double that and grab him.
Yeah,
and the problem is you have to win football games to rake in that cash.
But the problem with that example is there's no rule against like quarterbacks or whatever within the individual leagues not being able to make that
You're
money.
absolutely right. You're absolutely
rule in
right.
college where it's like, no, those kids cannot get paid. So the football programs just divert all that money to the coaches because there's rules that say that the players can't get paid.
They divert the money to the coaches because you win and you make money. If you win, the boosters come. And if the boosters comes, you get paid. And if you get paid, then you can support, swimming, diving, track, lacrosse,
but the
field
players,
hockey.
but the players are the ones who generate the funds. The players are the ones that win the games. They should be getting a piece of that. Like, not just sitting there and giving everything to the coach who just draws up
Look,
plays.
here's the deal. If athletic departments turn a profit, I would agree. But there is not one athletic department in America that actually turns a profit.
There was a study that was recently done by a professor at Drexel, I think, who pointed out that by not paying these athletes, specifically in basketball and football, because those are your revenue-generating sports, specifically not paying those athletes who are predominantly black players, they have robbed these kids of generational wealth in the billions. And basically they said they broke it down to what these guys mean to a university, and not just what they mean to the athletic program, what they mean to the students coming to the university,
right?
Because the school,
numbers, prestige,
all of that.
I don't disagree with
all
any
of that.
I don't.
It was in the millions over a 4-year.
Sure. Okay, so you want to make those basketball players, those 3 basketball players on one basketball team at a given time, you want to make them whole, great. But then what you're doing is you're cutting probably 50 to 75 scholarships from other athletes that get free educations. And if that's what you're willing to do, that's fine. Fuck them then. Cool. Let's cut it all then. Let's cut it down. We're going to play basketball. We're going to play football. And
yes, go ahead.
Nope,
we're going to play baseball at the schools.
No, we're not going to play baseball because even baseball schools are supported unless you're talking like Cal Fullerton.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. So
cool. Great. So then we'll play baseball at like 8 schools out in California. And then all of a sudden they realize, you know what? Wait, we could just go cherry pick people from the rookie leagues and stuff that we don't need to go to colleges. Like, that's my point, is that unfortunately, yes, these handful of students at a given university on a given year, they get robbed. But by them getting robbed, they support the ability for dozens of kids to get educations that maybe wouldn't. Because let's be honest, it's not just basketball and football players that come from underprivileged backgrounds that can't pay for education.
Yeah, but when you're looking at most of those other sports, it's people that can afford it. If you're talking about the sports that don't generate any revenue, like,
okay, fine. So
volleyball or golf or any of that
Scott,
shit.
So Scott, we're not. Now we're like edging up against a philosophical debate. Is the sacrifice of one worth the good of many? Because if there's a tennis team where there's 13 rich-ass kids that come from OWG households, but 2 of those kids come from inner-city minority families that get free full rides to top-notch quality education that then creates generational wealth for their family, is it worth it that they get that education, or that a guy that's playing basketball on the men's basketball team gets paid $750,000 for a couple years, goes to the NBA for 2 years, and then burns out?
I feel like we
Arthur Ashe should have picked up a football or basketball and done a real sport.
I feel
finally someone brought us back to what this show is truly about.
I was going to say, I feel like we could do a whole.
Way too serious.
We got way too serious. I don't like this. You two having high ABV beers is not good at all. I want to go back to something Scott said before, where he said at this point in time, athletes have this power that they've never had before in college, and I think that's 100% true in the cases of the Power 5 schools. But when you talk about a school like Colorado State, these kids that aren't at a Power 5 school, that don't have the talent to play at a Power 5 school, they don't necessarily have that same power that these kids have. So that's why they might feel like they have to go out and play even with COVID, because otherwise, where are they going to go? They're going to go JUCO? They're going to go East Mississippi? Are they going to go Laney after that? Like, they don't really have something like a Pac-12 or a Big Ten player can they're good enough that they can stand up a little bit more to the universities, and that's what we saw this week as well. The Pac-12 players actually threatened to opt out. There was hundreds of them that signed. They went on a social media campaign talking about how they want paid through a revenue sharing model, giving better COVID-19 protections. Big athletes follow suit today. They formed a unity group citing things like better protection with COVID. They want third-party doctors that are approved by the players to administer the testing, not people who are affiliated with the university. They want whistleblower protection.
My God, they want basic human rights.
Right.
How weird of these college kids to want those things that they've been denied all these years.
They
That's
want
odd.
the
And
couple.
again, I'm not opposed to any of that at all.
The couple that stood out to me was they want to preserve athletic eligibility, scholarships, and roster spots for any player who opts out or is unable to play more than 40% of their scheduled season because of COVID or a season postponement or cancellation.
So wait, is that like the school and conference cancels games, or like they get COVID and get quarantined?
Either one. Either
Gotcha.
one. In either
Word.
case, they want to be able to have protection that they still have a spot to go back to.
Also,
and
real quick, in case you're still listening, hi, Grandma Janet.
hey, Grandma, thanks for tuning
What's
in.
up?
Appreciate it.
So keep it clean, boys.
Fair enough. We could do that. They also said, and this is where
I'm kidding. Don't just be real.
As I'm reading through the list of what the Big Ten players asked for, this is where I was like, well, there it goes. It's done. They said they want coverage for all out-of-pocket medical expenses related to COVID-19, both short-term and long-term, incurred by active college athletes.
That's
and that's where I was
bullshit. We
like,
don't
that's
even
where they
get
are
that.
not going to...
What are you talking about?
Like, no, that's like your work being like, no, we got you. Yeah, you got to come in. You got to come in and work. But also, if you catch the Rona, we got you. Even long-term effects, because we don't know the long-term effects. Like, people are going to be screwed for a long time on this one. But to Scott's point, these athletes are almost unionizing. These guys are starting to demand some things that we've never seen athletes
they're
demand.
unitizing. Trademark.
Oh, you get it.
I think you can keep that one.
Whatever. Also, I'll be like that dude from the former Washington football team, and I'll just trademark a bunch of stuff. And if I hit one of them, it's worth it.
That guy. I was like,
that
which
guy.
guy?
Yeah,
I was like, you're gonna be like Daniel
Yeah.
Snyder? That's not good.
I mean, I gotta be honest. Like, besides his poor moral character, dude's rich AF. So, like, I mean,
we started to point out this last week. I started to point this out, and the Big Ten players in their statement mentioned this, but they were talking about how there's no standard across the board. Some schools were testing once a week. Some guys were tested every 2 weeks. At some places, they hadn't been tested since June. So the fact that there is no standard across the board is what these guys are worried about. And they had to
like
dig.
the rest of American public? Shot.
Kind of like the NFL.
Right. But they
Kind of
had
like our school teachers.
true.
We need a new topic. This is too real.
They had one of
We're
the
gonna
best
tune up,
points
like, listen
though.
to these. Although we have 14 viewers, this is impressive.
They had one of the best points though, where they said they were like, "Listen, the NCAA, who is so quick to regulate every single thing we do, we're not
Right.
allowed to have jobs in the off season. We're not allowed to earn money a certain way. We're not allowed to do this. We're not allowed to do
can't
that.
make you a sandwich.
Right? Yeah, we can't get a ride home from somebody." They still
definitely can't
haven't
grill you
stepped
ribs.
in. They still haven't stepped in to put something in place for COVID protections. And I thought that was the best line of the whole thing. And clearly, it's because you can't keep an athlete down with COVID protection. So we're not going to rush the
They don't
regulations.
want 45 yelling at him either. Like, they've already been the wrong side of him a couple times, so they're afraid to hit.
No,
I don't think so.
because this goes deeper than
No.
whoever. No. This goes deeper than whoever's sitting in the White House. It all goes back to the fact that Mark Emmert and the NCAA doesn't give a shit about any of these athletes. That's the whole point.
Yeah.
They
Oh no, that was
don't
the initial premise.
care.
Like, I don't care. Like, we know they don't care about the athletes, but if 45 says something that it could hurt their ad revenue for whatever does start happening.
Well,
again.
right, but I'm just saying they haven't cared about these kids for a long ass time. So who's ever sitting in the White House, yeah, and they may get pissy, may face a little bit of PR backlash, but the bottom line is they don't give a shit about the lives or the well-being of any of these kids. They just want to make sure that they're not getting any money because it takes away from what they're getting. That's all it is.
That's what
plain
it
and
comes
simple.
down to.
Ooh, no, and this one I think it's more they don't want to be liable so they can get sued later.
Well, right, but you're opening yourself up. You didn't think you could get
Right.
sued by
You can
not
get
paying the
sued for
players and
not.
doing an EA Sports video game, and Ed O'Bannon showed that you can. So if you push ahead with this this season, despite
Which I
not
still say
setting
screw Ed
anything,
O'Bannon because he took away one of the things I love most in life.
all right, let's.
I will throw this out here though. All right, ready for this? This is alternate history. This is how we solve this problem, right? This is what we do. We bring back NCAA football.
We bring Brack?
I'll
Shut
bring
up.
I'll bring it
I
back.
definitely want to bring Brack.
I would love to bring back some stuff, and we start with NCAA football.
That should be a new segment. Bring Brack.
Bring it back.
Says the asshole drinking 14. How? Like,
Hey,
when is that gonna
DJ,
hit?
bring
Like,
that back.
I'm over here done. Like, you need to catch up, Scott. You're ruining an amazing point here, and we haven't even gotten into do that.
Okay,
hockey
okay,
yet.
okay. All right, everybody, calm down. Bring it back.
We're gonna bring back NCAA football. All the proceeds, all the revenue go to the NCAA Scholarship Fund, or going to fund athletes' treatment, healthcare, whatever during this crisis. And we have the athletes play. Full schedule, conference, non-conference, all sports, esports style. So you have your left tackle play as the left tackle in NCAA football. Your wide receiver has to run his route as he would in NCAA football.
I don't. I got to be honest. I watched.
You gotta stop drinking anything over 8%. That's what I think about this.
All right.
We would probably. I got to be honest. I would love to watch that for maybe like 10 minutes. I'd be like, oh, this sucks.
Right, because that's what happened at the beginning of the pandemic. Was all these people like I remember watching ESPN where I watched NBA players play NBA video games, and I was like, at first I was like, this sounds amazing, and then I watched it, I was like, God, I can't do this. I can't get into this. I can't. I'm sorry. I just can't watch it.
It'd be even worse because it'd be like the old school, like electrical football games where all the players just like.
Now I'm back on board. If that's how we're doing it, I'm back on board.
About. Like every single player plays their position.
Not a video game.
Dudes playing on the field at the same time in football.
I want electric football back. That's what I want. That's what's going to happen. LSU revealed this week their COVID protocol.
Holy shit,
face
Scott,
masks.
There's a black hockey ref.
Hold on a second.
Whoa.
We got to wrap that up by saying, bring back electric.
You can't even say it, idiot.
I know, because I'm sober.
So
that sounds like a you problem, son.
LSU, we are going way long on Stick to Sports, guys, by the way. We went off the rails being serious and talking about things. It was awful.
This is Matt Barr's fault.
People don't want to see that. Bring it back to the drunkenness.
If Joe was here, he would have told us to move
on. He would have told us move on a long time. We would have been getting this move, and he would have been mad at Scott, and he would have rolled his eyes at you. It would have been a whole thing. LSU, they gave their players their helmets this week that have the COVID face mask, the face shield built into it.
Oh, the Oakley thing?
Yeah, the spit guard, they're calling it. This is what an LSU linebacker had to say on TikTok. I don't know if you're going to be able to hear this. We'll try it real quick. Let me see if you can hear this.
I can't fucking breathe out of this thing. Yes, sir.
Listen.
I can't fucking breathe out of this thing. Yes, sir.
I can't fucking breathe out of this thing is what the kid said. And that's what we're just marching these kids out for because local economies depend on college football. So here you go. Here's a sheet of plastic over your face. Go out there, get some CTE. We're not giving you any type of health benefits for it. Good luck. The swimming team depends on it. Get the fuck out there. Let's talk baseball.
I didn't even think about that angle. For so long, they're like, run them out there. We don't care about their livelihoods with broken legs, all that other stuff. CTE, no big thing. COVID, just add it to the list.
That's what like this whole thing comes down to. Like, of course they don't give a shit about COVID.
We gotta get this. We gotta keep this money train rolling.
There has been
nothing stops.
There has been studies that prove that getting bashed in the head your entire life causes brain damage, and they're just like, yeah, you think we're going to let COVID stop us? Get the fuck out of here, son. You want that scholarship, go run out that tunnel.
Because if this rational conversation leads to me not being able to get blackout drunk and to go yell about teenagers smacking each other on the field in Notre Dame Stadium, I'm going to be so pissed.
It ain't happening this year.
I'm going to have to find something adult and mature to do in the fall every Saturday for 4.5 hours.
You can still drink.
To justify drinking.
You better bring back pinocchles.
I don't think that shit was ever here, Scott. I don't know if that plays. We should bring back Katie, though, and her drunk ass calls. Where's she been at these days?
Katie's calls are banned from this show. All right, let's talk.
That's fair.
Let's talk baseball real quick. Let's wrap up some Stick to Sports with some baseball talk. I'm glad Matt Barr is in the chat because Cespedes went AWOL this week for the Mets, and then they like the Mets released a statement that they were like, well, we can't find him. We don't know where it is, which people got a little nervous. They were like, did Cespedes get murdered? Like, is he gone? Like, what happened? And it turns out he just opted out. He told his agent he was leaving. He packed up his shit and just went home. And the the Mets had to know because that same day they traded for Billy Hamilton, and then
He's still in the league?
yeah, baby. Now he's with the
Wait,
Mets.
hold on a second. They traded for him. Who the hell had him?
Oh, maybe they just picked him up. Maybe he.
I was gonna say
maybe
he had
was
to
a
have been
free
on the
agent
waiver
pickup.
wire.
I don't know. Maybe let's Google that one.
Because the Braves had him to end last season, and then they didn't re-sign him, and that was the last I heard his name.
Let's see what happened here. Let's see.
While you're doing that, though, the funniest part is listening to that from the Braves side of it. So I'm listening to the game because I was out and about. I'm listening to it on the radio, and they're like, so, by the way, Cespedes was not in the lineup today, and it's because he just didn't show up. Mets are concerned. They have no idea where he is. They tried reaching out to him and couldn't find him. And I'm like, huh, that seems kind of weird. But, of course, my first thought was they're in Atlanta. Somebody check Magic City.
Scott's saying the Giants had him.
Yeah. He was with the Giants. They traded a pitcher for him. Also, as I was researching that, and I'm glad, he apparently missed his debut or was late for his debut or something like that. And the reason why the Mets offered him a train ticket that would get him into town for Tuesday night's game, and he said, quote, "I told them I watched too much Criminal Minds for the train."
Wait, hold on a second. Is that Billy Hamilton or is that?
I guess, yeah, that's true. If it was Billy Hamilton, hang on, let me do this as Billy Hamilton. Hang on, I got to get my Muppet voice going. It's going to be really tough to. I told him I watched too much Criminal Minds for the train. That's my Billy Hamilton impression.
And look how red he is after not drinking a double-digit.
It's 8.4. It's close enough. So that's a baseball story for you this week. Also, the Reds and Tigers, Drew, your team, my team, took part in Major League Baseball history. The first teams in MLB history to take part in a scheduled 7-inning doubleheader. I think the MLB owes me a thank you. You're welcome for giving you that idea several months ago
instead
on this show. What's that?
Can we get money instead of a thank you?
Well,
No,
I mean,
fuck that. We're just taking Rob's job. The three of us can be better commissioners. The three-headed commissioner.
we probably could. Yeah, we could totally do that.
Rob, we'll just take his salary and divide it up three ways, and we'll figure this.
My
thing out.
my first rule as this commissioner tripod that we got going on here. Baseball is only 7 innings long from now on. That's it. Baseball is a 7-inning game.
Okay, cool. Mike's out. What do we got, Drew?
Did you watch those 7-inning doubleheaders? That was amazing. It was amazing. They were done in 2 hours. It was
Dude, you still had to watch 7 innings of baseball.
All right, Drew's out. So Scott, back to me and you. We got
to get paid.
No.
But,
here's the
I don't
part
wanna
where
have to watch the game.
We can meet.
Clearly, Rob doesn't.
We can meet on common ground. I'm all for if it's tied after 9 innings, it's just like that's it. Like it's a tie. Like
you're on board with that despite being wholly against that when I floated that idea last year on this show. Interesting.
No, it's all about compromise, you SOB. And I'm saying I will get rid of your 7-game proposal or 7-inning game proposal, which is stupid, in favor of, okay, you just go 9 innings. And if it's tied after 9 innings, then we wrap it up and go home.
Okay.
Actually,
I'm cool with that.
I'm going to amend both of those.
I'll take that.
So
I'll take that
First
proposal.
of all, after 9 innings, instead of it's tied, how about we just do the dinger, slinger, pain bringer,
We've talked
home run
about that
derby
before.
bat off?
No, I
right?
want to tie. It's done. I don't want to sit around in the stadium until
So you
10:30.
really want to kiss your sister like, I don't know, what, 80% of the games?
Says the soccer fan that's what happens in the regular season. They end in ties.
Because we actually run and exert ourselves physically for over an hour and a half.
This is
Baseball
ridiculous.
players sit there, scratch their nuts for like an hour, and maybe they'll jog to first base if someone's lucky enough to get hit in the head with a ball.
Okay.
Come on. Seriously?
Here you go.
Seriously.
Did you guys know the Pirates and Twins game was delayed this week because someone was flying a drone over the stadium?
That's awesome.
Was it Trevor Bauer?
That's immediately what I thought of too. I was like, get Bauer out of there. We need him, bro. But no,
Power outage. Get out of there.
they like freaked out. The umpire spotted the drone and like pulled the players off the field. And it wasn't even like a real high tech. It was just some dude that wanted to see the game. So he flew the drone over the stadium and they freaked out and pulled the players.
No COVID up here in the friendly skies. They're not playing the game. This is a bummer.
Ooh, I can't wait to get a glimpse at this. Where are they going? What's happening?
What the hell are you talking about, JB? You never watched an entire game. Son, I played on the field during an entire game. I watched all of it.
This has been Stick to Sports. It got way too real in the middle there, so I apologize. Thank you guys for sticking around as we got through Stick to Sports. Also, that's the longest we've ever gone. I want to give a shout out to our sponsor, Boss Man Brands. Listen, everybody, we got the hookup for you, whether it's an NHL playoff beard, whether you're rocking a quarantine beard, or you got that baby face. Our friends at Boss Man Brand can help you out. From supplements that are going to help your beard grow stronger and fuller to beard oils, pomades, and conditioners, Boss Man Brand's 4-step process will get your beard looking its absolute best. Even if you don't rock a beard, they've got razors and lotions to make sure your shave is smooth. Head on over to craftbrewedsports.com/beard. That's craftbrewedsports.com/BEARD. Use the code SPORTS at checkout to get 15% off your entire order. All right, it is time.
It is time for the highlight
for
of the show.
everybody's favorite.
Everybody, shut the hell up.
Click record. Sit your children down. Tell them to shut the hell up and listen. This is something
Gather
that's going to
round,
change their
folks.
lives.
It is
the best of the best.
Yes, it is that time. It's what everybody was looking forward to. Scott,
As they say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
do that hockey, baby. Hit us up, Scott. What do you got this week?
Well, they're back playing hockey games, and I saw that the Penguins won a game the other day. I also saw Tyson had hit me up with a couple of stats that I already forgot. Best of 5 series is going on concurrently with the knockout tournament, and things are good. You know what they haven't had? They haven't had a COVID scare during all of this, so I figure that's a huge plus. They're not going all baseball with it, where they have to cancel a bunch of games. Nobody's sitting by the pool anywhere giving out advice on how to beat other teams. So hockey is doing its thing. There's a lot of ice, a lot of Zambonis, not a lot of fans. It's good times.
Not a lot of fans.
I love when Scott does that hockey. He breaks it down so well that even the most base level fan can understand what's up.
That's what I'm here for. I am
Absolutely
Joe.
positive.
I am Joe Everyman when it comes to hockey. Baby.
Scott, as you're watching this, the best of 5 and the round robin, what stuck out to you about these teams? Like, what's shocked you going on there?
Connor McDavid.
What about him?
Full stop.
He's just been really good at hockey.
Yeah.
And the lack of black players is still concerning, but less concerning than baseball, because there's at least a growing number in hockey, so they've got that going for them.
Besides the hockey, is there anything that stands out to you about the playing in the bubble with lack of fans, and what is that? How for a hockey fan like yourself, how does that change the mood while you're watching? From a rowdy arena that's going crazy and the goal songs are going off, like, to this silent arena. What's that all about? How's that feel?
Well, I will say that we've talked about it many times on the show, that the NHL has the best playoffs of any sports, hands down. It's not even close. And there is a lot missing from not having the fans. I mean, it's just not the same when you have these guys fist pounding and, hugging and all that stuff after scoring goals, and you don't hear the roar of the crowd and don't see all the shenanigans that go on. So, like, the intensity doesn't feel like it's there, but I mean, maybe that'll change slightly when they actually get into, like, they get past this first round of preliminary stuff.
So I got to ask a question here, and this is actually letting Scott off the hook a little bit, but, like, I heard the announcers talking earlier in the Avalanche game of Cole Makar scoring his second playoff goal of his career. And I about lost my damn mind. This ain't no goddamn playoffs right now. Like, am I wrong? Like, should this count as playoff hockey?
Well, yeah, and that's the thing, and not just in hockey. It's like with all these sports going on. Like, how do these stats count when you're talking about the history of the game? Like, when you look at the record books, 5, 10, 15 years from now, like, how is this stuff going to be recorded, and where do the records go? Like, that's a big point of confusion for me for, like, all of them. Like baseball, like, none of this makes sense as far as how they're gonna, like, actually record this. It almost feels like it's just a thing that happened, and you just kind of you put in the record book. Oh yeah, 2020 they played hockey, but stuff happened, and this team won, but it was weird.
It was weird. That's just
It was weird.
What happened?
The Cliff Notes version of the COVID pandemic. It was weird.
What happened in 2020? It was weird, man.
Shit went down.
It was super weird.
So further proof that the wives don't listen to the show, and I love mine dearly. But I texted her real quick. I was like, "Hey, babe, you want to bring me a real beer? I'm not trying to get into these backups yet." And she brought me the Aggravated Murder. I'm gonna pass on that and go to the backup beers because I cannot be face down before the show.
I was gonna say,
ends.
you mean you're not going from a 10% to a 14%?
That's a 14.5. No, that sounds like a bad idea. So I have a couple questions to throw your way, Scott. So what do you feel the Rangers have to do to get back in the series?
Get out of New
Against
York.
the Hurricanes. Yeah.
It's all about the escape from New York, because nobody wants to be in that state or that city with those horrible fans.
Right,
so
and they're not, because they're in Canada.
Their first thing is to not be in New York, which I mean they're currently doing because they're in Canada.
Right.
But I'm just saying, like, as an organization, they need to move the organization away from New York.
Hey, Drew, real quick, didn't
real
the Rangers just get swept?
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
Carolina
The Rangers
cleaned them out in 3-game series, so the Rangers actually they got sent home.
Well, I mean
yesterday.
that makes total sense because it's hurricane season. We've got that hurricane
fair.
that I can't pronounce right now, and it's taken out Iglesias. Yes, that sounds.
I've heard he's a great shortstop, though.
He's not a good closer.
He's a left winger, you idiot.
Oh,
Jesus,
sorry,
we're talking about
yeah.
hockey.
Scott, so I mean, going off of the Rangers being eliminated, there was concern that one of the greatest traditions in all of hockey was not going to happen because of COVID, and that is the post-series handshake line. How did you feel about the Rangers and the Hurricanes going with fist bumps after the end of that series to close it out? As a diehard hockey fan like yourself.
I mean, that's fine. It's again, you learn to live with it. But the fact that there's no fans is what makes it really weird. And besides, I don't even think that's the best tradition. I think the best tradition in hockey is throwing things on the ice, whether it be hats or octopi or whatever. Like those are the best traditions in sport and hockey.
Did you happen to see that, Scott, this week when they actually did throw some stuff on the ice?
How? There are no fans in the stands.
Well, look, the NHL takes this bubble very seriously, and not just in the terms of safety, but making sure they curate and cultivate an authentic hockey experience. So a hat trick was scored earlier this week. And yes, ladies and gentlemen, the Ice Girls are still there doing their job, and they ran down on different areas of the ice on the outside of the glass and chucked hats onto the ice.
I love that they
maintain the authentic experience.
I love that
That's actually impressive.
I love that they threw the hats and then had to run onto the ice to clean up the hats that they threw.
Scoop them up. So here's what I want to know. They're using those hats all playoffs, right?
They've got
it's
to,
like the same 20 hats.
And they'll blame it on COVID. They'll just be like, we can't get new hats in. It's got to be the same
these ones are
hats.
already
We've got to
sanitized and
reuse
clean.
these. Afterwards, we spray them down. That's the thing. And JB brings up a good point about the handshake line. The players are tested on a daily basis. They're in a bubble. On top of what he's saying of, the fact that they're tested, they also just spent 3 games beating the shit out of each other playing hocky, and you're not going to let them shake hands?
Fight each other.
Right.
Like, grabbing and punching.
But it is as dumb as the NFL banning jersey exchanges after games for the coming season.
You can't social
Well, that's because the
distance on a
NFL
check
wants
into the
those jerseys
glass.
to sell. That's why they do that, Mike.
Yes, that's a fair
It's
point.
different, though. Going back real quick to the hat trick thing, also, did you? I know you didn't, Mike, because you're not watching hockey, because you're not as dedicated a hockey fan as myself and Scott. But
Idiot.
did you guys
you two are
see
the hockey fans.
the pregame rituals and the superstitions that some of the players are still carrying out, even though there's no fans?
No, I didn't see that. Scott, you probably saw that. Scott, why don't you tell us about that?
Those? Which one was your favorite?
The one where they don't wash their jockstrap for the entirety of the series. I still like that they're going with that. COVID be damned. So
did you
it's
just
some traditions?
wait? Hang on. I gotta break the fourth wall on this. Did you just pull that from the Mighty Ducks? Is that where you pulled that one from? Was the Mighty Ducks?
Yes. I'm just glad somebody's keeping up with me on doing that hockey.
Right, doing that hockey in the way that only we know how here at Craft Breed Sports, ladies and gentlemen.
Scott, thank you. Are your
wait a minute, you're gonna hold on
no,
to
go
actual
ahead,
shit?
go ahead. My bad.
Dudes
No,
are
no.
actually doing this.
No, go
they're
ahead.
they're chucking pucks over the boards. They're handing sticks off to just no one or random employees because as part of pregame superstitions, hockey players are very dedicated to that. And that one asshole on the Penguins, I can't remember his name because they're all dickheads, likes to always flip a puck up over the glass to some shithead child that's had their future ruined by being a Penguins fan.
Damn.
But he's still doing it to empty seats in the stadium.
I'm okay with that. I love that. I love that.
Might as well keep traditions alive.
Yeah, because that's one less puck a Pittsburgh fan gets.
Scott, are
The
your
taint of the Midwest.
now that you're a week into your play-ins here, are you sticking true to your same predictions as last week?
Yep, I'm feeling good. Last week I picked Washington and somebody.
Still going with Washington and somebody?
Yeah, so we're gonna stick with that. Washington over
and someone from the East, or
no. Come on, man. Washington and somebody from the West. I know that Washington is
boy.
in the East.
do you
Nice
know where
try.
Washington's playing their games?
One
Out
of
of
the
Toronto
two bubble
and
cities.
Edmonton.
I'm gonna go with Edmonton.
God damn it. Seriously, dude. Read a map.
Well, I mean, I know Toronto is more eastern than Edmonton, but I mean, what does that matter? I mean, how many of these Detroit's in the Western Conference, and that's not very west. So, what's your point?
No, oh my God. Like,
Wow.
You were so
Wow.
2005, bro.
Scott, thank you so much for doing that hockey for
As they
us.
say in hockey, let's do that hockey.
Really appreciate it. Job well done. Do
We
it
didn't
again
even
next
talk
week
about
for
the
us.
Black linesman.
There's black linesmen.
There's
I
a
thought there
black
was just
linesman
blue.
in the Penguins Canadians game right now, where Carey Price is just getting his shit run all up in his face, as that terrible man that coaches the Penguins said they're going to have to do to be able to break him down after getting just stonewalled the first couple games of the series.
I really want to talk about my athletes, my famous people.
Athlete's foot?
No, damn it! I really want to talk about my famous people that are.
Notice he
Okay,
didn't say,
okay.
no, I don't have athlete's foot, though.
Okay, we will get to
Wow,
to
my wife said the exact same thing as you, Drew. You both suck.
What up, Cheryl?
She randomly just says athlete's foot. First words I've heard from her since the show started. From the cheap
all right.
seats.
Let's go. Let's get
You got a
into
better thing to do.
let's get into fire dumpster fire. We should be able to knock this one out pretty quickly. This week, George Kittle, Scott's favorite tight end in the NFL, got a new tattoo. He got the Master Chief from Halo. So what I want to know now, we're going to do fire or dumpster fire with athlete tattoos. Here's the sweet graphic that I queued up for this one. We are going to do some fire or dumpster fire. We'll start off with George Kittle's Master Chief Halo tattoo. It is, I mean, it's impressive.
It's a really good tattoo.
It's really
if we're
well
just talking
done.
about tattoos, it's a really well done tattoo.
I think it's weird that, like, is Halo still a thing? I don't even know if Halo's still a
Is it on
thing.
his inner arm?
It's on his forearm. Yeah, the inner forearm.
But like the inside?
Yeah, which is
So like,
fine.
is he staring at Master Chief as he's cranking down then?
That's a good point. Is Master Chief the one that's like yank it? Maybe it maybe goes lefty, and it's not. You know, it's
yeah,
he
no,
can have it.
I love that. I mean,
Well, wait, so
very well done.
all right, so real quick, do you guys go, are you a switch hitter when it comes down to that, or do you bat with your lead hand?
This Master Chief tattoo is fantastic.
I would agree. I think it's a clean tattoo. It looks good. So I am going to say fire. Scott, you're saying fire. Drew, you are outvoted no matter what, but fire or dumpster fire on this one.
No, I love it. It's quality artwork, man. That thing looks sick.
All right, so there you go. George Kittle's Master Chief tattoo is Fire. Okay, so let's move on. Let's go to our buddy J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith. Yeah, he's got this back piece, and in his back piece it says "just clownin," spelled with a K, Klownin, and then there's like a guy in a clown mask playing basketball, and there's like girls with clown masks that are dressed slutty. It's an entire back piece.
Fire.
It's like bubble letters that you see from like a teenage girl that writes in her notebook. Scott, you're saying fire on this back piece from J.R.
Smith. It's a tattoo. It's fire.
That's a fair point. Drew, do you agree that J.R. Smith's just clowning back piece is fire, or is this dumpster fire?
This is a dumpster fire. He missed a chance to get Harley Quinn in on the action. Like, what are you doing, bro?
Also, just because of the clown portion, I am also saying dumpster fire. So I'm sorry, J.R. Smith. Dumpster fire of a back tat that you got going on there. Next up, we've got Marquis Daniels, Sacramento Kings player, I believe, right? He plays for the Kings, Scott. Drew.
God, yes, he does.
Drew busted out his clown background for me.
Time, man.
One of the 13 jokers on that team.
This is another inner forearm tattoo, and Marquis Daniels has a guy blowing his brains out with a shotgun with the saying, "Only the strong survive" above
Dumpster
it.
fire.
Is this a Full Metal Jacket reference?
No, it doesn't look like that's Vincent D'Onofrio
No,
in that.
this is just a dumpster fire.
Dumpster
This is one of those
really
ones that
bad.
you don't know what the hell it is, and you have to explain it too much.
Like
Well,
the
and I'd be,
saying is
curious how
fine
many
enough.
bath salts he did before he got this thing done.
I'm fine with the saying, but also like that's the one you go with on it. No, hard pass on this one. I think we're all in agreement. Dumpster fire, correct? Dumpster fire on that one. Marquis Daniels, what the hell are you doing,
That's
bro?
such a weird tat.
Let's go to Stefan Marbury. Stefan has a tattoo
Dumpster fire.
on his head.
Fire, dude. Are you kidding me? There's no better. Wow, that's going to be another bring it back, isn't it? There is no better way to promote your brand and your shoe line than to put your Starbury on your fucking head.
Yes, the Starbury logo on his head. Starbury, the brand that was sold at Stephen Barry's for all of 2 years before they went out of business.
And I bought a bunch of that on an employee discount too, man. It was
It's funny, if you had a pair of the original Starburys, it's probably worth something. There's probably
It probably is.
No, they were for a minute, Scott, because they went out of whatever. They stopped manufacturing it, I think 3 years ago. Stefan actually brought him back, independent Stephen Barry's, because he's still. And this is what honestly, I give the guy props. Like, he's trying to make quality basketball shoes that are fly for kids for like $50.
Was it 50? I thought it was like $20.
I mean,
No, you got to adjust for inflation, but it was also a little bit more expensive because he had to go independent with it. Like, he had to go and get it manufactured himself as his own brand.
No, I mean, I love the idea and all that. I thought that the logo on his head just looked awful.
It's in a bad spot. Like, if you're gonna go head tattoo, don't go in a place that you can grow hair and cover it up. I don't like that.
Plus, it was the de-evolution of him as a player. Like, that's the thing. Like, he was really good. Like, there could have been something with him and Garnett there in Minnesota, and then he just went crazy.
Gabe pointing out that there is a great documentary on Netflix, Kid from Coney Island. I've seen it pop up in my recommended. I haven't watched it yet. I'm gonna try to watch it this week. So thank you, Gabe. I will check that one out. The people have spoken on this one. JB saying it's his logo. That's dedication. Matt Barr saying
JB
Starbury is fire.
Fan, so no one cares what it is.
Biscuit saying it's fire. So I'm gonna have to side with the people and split this vote and come out and say that this one is fire. Stefan Marbury's head
by
tattoo.
the same token, if Jordan went and tattooed the Air Jordan logo on his head,
douchey. That's douchey. No, that's douchey. But he's also not Stefan Marbury.
He doesn't need the free marketing.
Hang on though. Is it on on his head, because then maybe I'm okay with it.
No, of course, same spot, same exact spot. That just the jump man sitting right there above his fucking left ear.
Nah, he's douchey
What if
for
you
that
like
one.
tucked it down a little bit and had his leg straddling his ear though?
Oh, that's really fire.
That'd be kind of cool.
And I
Like,
apologize,
it's him
everybody. I
jumping
didn't
over
have the
someone to
chat
dunk.
pulled up, so I'm sorry to everybody that was commenting on these, and I don't know what everybody, but people are chiming in. Thank you for chiming in. Keep commenting. Let us know. Biscuit said J.R. Smith's was a dumpster fire.
Yeah, a lot of J.R. Smith dumpsters.
JB's reaction to the Marquis Daniels was, "What in the actual fuck?" And then Biscuit said, "Courtney Love approves." So.
Well called.
Damn! Now that's a deep reference.
All right, let's do one more. This is a Polish soccer goalie. I pulled this one just for Drew because he is also a Polish soccer goalie. This is Artur Borick.
Respect. That's brilliant.
Artur Borick has a monkey showing his asshole, and the asshole is his belly button. Now, this one...
Fire.
Yep.
Fire.
Fired.
This one
I
hit,
would walk around my entire life shirtless just to show this shit off.
this one
Pun not
hit
intended,
close to
but
home for me
appreciated.
because my dad used to make a joke when I was younger, where he'd say he had a tattoo and it was a rooster showing his butthole, and everything faded except for the belly button where his butthole was. So to see this in action, like somebody really got that tattoo,
Explains a
amazing.
lot about your childhood.
Well, yeah, I know, you know. Matt Barr saying soccer is a dumpster fire, but this tattoo is fire. I think everybody can agree that Artur Dork's tattoo
This is fire.
100%
Yeah.
fire. That is such a
Yeah.
good tattoo. Also, he's a little chunky too, so that just adds to it. It's not like it's on like chiseled out abs. He's got kind of some beef there. I love it. Fire tattoo on that one. This has been fire or dumpster fire.
It's gonna be a problem. That's just what happens when you use wipes and like it doesn't come clean off.
That's true though. Like you got to dig in there to get out the lid.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
And
gonna be.
sometimes the wipe just stays, and that's never a good time. Oh, another goal for the Pens. Damn.
Let's give a shout out real quick to our friends at Dugout Mugs. Dugout Mugs, everybody, this is what we drink out of here on the show. You can too. Drink out of a bat just like we do. It is baseball season. Hit them up, dugoutmugs.com/craft. Get 15% off your entire order. You can put beer in here. You can put coffee, water, whatever you're drinking. It don't matter, hot or cold. The bat will hold it all. Dugoutmugs.com/craft. They got every Major League Baseball team. They got your own logo. You can put your own wording on there. Hit them up, 15% off your entire order at dugoutmugs.com/craft.
Next time
Actually,
you do
though-
that read, though, I need you to do baseball season?
Question mark.
Yeah, exactly. Like you need to make sure that the inflection. is accurate.
Also, you
Next
cannot put everything in here, because if you're gonna put wine in here, you should actually get their wine mug, which they make.
That's a good point.
specially
They have a
and
wine.
different.
Yes, they have a
Yeah.
wine glass that's made. Oh, not a. It's a wine
What do
wood.
you call that? It's like a goblet, maybe. It's like a wine glass, but it's wood.
Pimp
so-
cup. Pimp cup. It's a
Pimp cup,
it's a
yeah.
pimp cup.
Chalice. Excuse you.
Just be careful, because if you got to use it, to smack a bitch, then like it'll soak in.
All right, Drew. It is time for you to help us out. We need to make some money.
Oh,
People
man,
aren't
yeah.
hitting up
let's
sponsorships
get it.
like they should. So, Drew.
Ching, ching, bada bing.
Drew,
It's time to get paid, ladies and gentlemen.
get those
I don't know about
Mookie's mad
y'all.
props for us this week.
That's right, because let me just tell you this much. The NBA coming back has been good to me, ladies and gentlemen, because there are lines out there to be exploited. There are parlays to hit. There are
18 and a
teasers that are
half.
basically free. No, I stayed away from that one because I knew that was trouble. Anytime you see 18 and a half, like, no, they're just trying to rob me here. So, yeah, there's plenty of cash to be made, but you know what? I'm going to be honest right now. I ain't going to give you none of those lines because we're doing prop bets today. If you want to see how to make money, how to get paid to offset all the beer you've been buying and shipping to your house, you got to get at my Twitter account.
And lying to your wife about.
No, because I'm breaking even now, Scott. All right.
Okay,
God,
okay. I'm just trying to help you out.
I appreciate it. I've been putting in work. So the first part of the first prop that I got going off this week, and again, I will take anyone's money if they want to put down cash on this week, this day, whatever. Get at me and let's put it on the line and have some fun. More FCC violations in the MLB or the NHL this weekend. So that's Friday's games, Saturday games, and Sunday games. And those are things that normally under regular circumstances would get them fined, but basically the FCC just been like, screw it, we give up. And so I'm cutting it. You've got a minus 90. I know, a bit weird of a line. A minus 90 for the NHL to go ahead and beat the MLB, but I'm going to take the plus 120 on the MLB to actually outpace the NHL for things that they should be fined for on live broadcast this weekend. And ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to tell you why, and it's a very simple fact. Nobody understands how hockey players cuss. They say shit weird. They cuss out Tim Hortons, and you don't realize that that's basically saying they're going to BF you until your colon pops out. And because of that, they ain't going to get fined.
That's a dirty dangle right there. That's what that is.
That's right. That's a dirty dangle. And you want to take that MLB getting more fines than the HL to plus 120 and just take that money to the bank.
That's a good one, Drew. What else you got for us this week?
All right. So I don't know if we know this or not, but there is a golf major this weekend.
Sure is, baby.
Does it count? Is it a thing?
Yes, it's the PGA Championship, bro. It's a real thing. It's I mean, Tiger's playing, so you know it's real.
Sure. And so I've heard that he's thinking about switching his putter before the tournament this weekend. And so there's a prop going off at how many times they're going to talk about it at 2.5 times on the Sunday broadcast alone.
Mash that over.
And that's why Mike isn't allowed to bet on this show, because I'm going to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, right here, Tiger ain't making the cut. So get your dollars in now, today or Thursday before they tee off, and hammer that under 2.5 times they talk about it on Sunday. Because I'll tell you what, they going to mention it once. They're going to mention it maybe twice.
They're going to mention it 3 times before the intro's over.
They ain't going. No, Scott, they ain't going to get to on Sunday because his ass not going to have him playing for 2.
See here, Scott.
That's
here's
why
what
it's a sucker's bet, because he won't have made the cut, and they're still going to be like, "Hey, did y'all hear about Tiger Woods switching his putter?"
Exactly.
Now, Scott.
Exactly.
Scott,
they're going to be like, "That's why he didn't make the cut was because he switched his putter."
Well, now, as much as I'd like to agree with that, there's actually going to be other stories that carry the day more that will prevent that from happening. We'll get to that in a minute, though. So a little bit more of the boring stuff, and this is really a way to just kind of screw with your hockey friends. But Barclay Goodrow's ass is going to get suspended for a hit he laid today on a Boston Bruin. And I know what everyone's saying. The Bruins deserve it. There's no such thing as a cheap blindside hit in hockey because they're the Bruins, and they really are just terrible people. But we also have to recognize that this is the NHL, and Bettman still has it in for Original Six clubs, and nothing would sell more than the Bruins being back in this makeshift Stanley Cup Finals. So Barclay Goodrow is for sure getting a 1-game suspension. It's going off at negative 200 right now, but you know what? Whatever. You got Duckett sitting around. Might as well make him work for you, right? Turn that dollar into 50 cents. No worries.
I have no idea what any of that means. Just throwing that out there. I didn't follow any of that one.
That's what I'm saying. Just go to your bookie and be like, look, I want 100 bills. I'm a boy Barclay Goodrow getting suspended a game, and I'll take a negative 200 line.
Give me another PGA mad prop I can put on here.
All right, here it is. You ready for this? And Scott, this is why they're not going to be talking about Tiger at all. So going into Sunday, Bryson DeChambeau is going to be in contention. And then he's going to see the finish line. He's going to see the first major in his career, and he's going to go super hard to push to get that win. And boy is going to flip the F out, toss his entire bag of golf clubs in a pond, and scream, "God damn it, these steroids weren't worth my balls shrinking to friggin' grapes. Fuck this shit, I quit." After posting a 5-over on the front 9 on Sunday. And that right there is why they won't be talking about Tiger at all. So I'm going to tell you again, right now, lock this shit in at plus 125 that Bryson roid rages and loses his shit, and you'll be smiling all over the bank.
They're going to be like, "Did you hear about that time at Perkins with the waitress and Tiger?" They'll find a way to bring up Tiger. That's
Maybe. And I will say the last prop of this weekend, that's the only thing that's more sure money than Bryson's shriveled testicles ruining his Sunday, is that I will cuss out a Bovada or Top Bet or DraftKings customer service representative for not putting motherfucking game lines up more than 24 hours in advance. Because what is this shit, dude? Like any time that you actually play real sports, this stuff is predicted way in advance. I could bet parlays every day till fucking Sunday and actually put money down now to lock in my lines to my advantage, which really is to your advantage because my dumbass gonna fuck up more than half of them, end up in the poor bank. But no, it ain't happening. No one wants to put out a line more than 24 hours in advance. So like, what the fuck is this? So at some point here, I'm going to lose my mind after 5-10% alcohols in a row and just have to cuss out some poor kid in Ukraine about why his bosses won't put shit on the line so I can lose my money. Absolutely fucking absurd. Absolutely absurd. Get it together, Vegas. We all know they're automated algorithms anyways. Just put the shit out here so we can bet on Wednesday, hedge on Thursday, then panic and lose our bank on Friday for a game that happens on Saturday. Get it the fuck together.
This has been Mookie's Mad Props.
I'm drinking a 4.5%, but Anheuser-Busch.
Oh, by the way, that last one's going off at minus 2,500.
I'm gonna mash that one. All right, thank you, Drew, for the Mad Props this weekend.
Can we get to our famous people in
Yes,
Foursome,
we can.
please?
Is the thing Scott has been looking forward to all day. Apparently, he's been super pumped for this. So, rapper J. Cole posted a video where he was just draining threes, and Master P had said that he was like ready for an NBA tryout or something. I don't know. Weird situation, like a viral stunt. Anyways, that was a
COVID.
He thinks that J. Cole can play in the NBA. Master P was like, J. Cole has a shot. He can do this. And the Pistons are giving him a shot. So based on this video,
It's the Pistons.
the Detroit Pistons were like, yeah, we'll let J. Cole try out for the team. Fine. So that got me thinking, who is a celebrity that you want to see play in a professional sporting venue? Whatever the sport is, doesn't matter. Whatever. So Scott, let's go to you first since you're so excited about this. How many do you have, by the way? Because I didn't prepare at all for this.
Wow, you put it in the doc and said, hey, let's have at least 3 to 5 for this.
3 to
And then
5.
you
That's
came
what I
with
said.
none.
You're right. That's what I
Cool,
said. I got it.
cool. So I've got 5 because I pay attention to the rundown.
Yeah,
and
sure you
I
do.
did my homework, and I went with an MCU theme. So I was like,
Oh.
with the actors in the MCU that I want to see play sports.
Okay.
So I started off
Actors or characters?
No. The actors themselves.
Okay, okay.
And just based on their physique and their what's going on within the MCU, but not their actual characters. But for my first one, I'm going with Chris Evans, Captain America himself, and I'm going to go with baseball because he looks
Suck
like
a dick, JB.
Jack-
Let's go Habs.
he's jacked enough to have played in the roids era. So I'm going with Chris Evans playing baseball.
That's a very good point on that one. Drew, do you have any celebrities that you want to see playing in a professional sporting league?
Yeah, so I fucked this up. I thought we were talking about the foursome we wanted to play golf with.
I also have my foursome ready too, which I'm really excited about. So should I just do the segment by myself and do my
Wait,
my
I got
MCU actors and
people.
sports that
I
wanna
got
do?
people that I want to play in. I got people that I want in sports. I've got my thing. I can do this. I can do
Okay,
this.
you've got
Go ahead,
Mike.
yeah.
Go ahead. Go
Yeah.
ahead.
Okay, so I'll go first then. The first one that I want to see in a professional sport, I would like to see Corey Matthews from Boy Meets World. Fred Savage's younger brother, Ben Savage. I want to see him playing in the NFL just because I want him to get his ass beat for all the times he turned Sean Hunter in for doing something stupid. Corey Matthews, you're about to get your dick kicked in the NFL.
He was like the worst best friend you could.
He
ever
was
have.
terrible. It's like, bro, cover for Sean. Let him sneak out. Why are you being such an asshole about this?
You had
Dude.
one job.
Did you see his curly ass hair? Like, what do you expect from a kid
Well,
like
I
that?
mean,
Bro.
it wasn't. It's
he
like,
might
dude,
as well have been a ginger.
You got
Wow.
to bang Topanga.
Wow.
The least you could do is cover for Sean.
No, he never banged Topanga.
He didn't get to bang her until they got
Do
married.
you
That
think
was
he
I
ever
was just gonna
touched-
say.
Do
Eventually,
you think he
did.
ever actually touched her
He had a
boobs
kid
or
with
ass
her, so I
before
know
that?
he had sex with her at least once.
Don't you remember the prom episode? The prom episode, they
Yes,
went up to
I
her
remember.
That was
room
in
and he
vitro
couldn't
shit.
do it because he ran into his dad at the ice
But
machine.
what I'm
That
saying
got really
is, in
weird.
Girl
by the way.
Meets World, they have a daughter, so he banged her at least once.
He did
No,
hit it.
that's
Well,
called-
there,
dude,
he hit it
IVF,
during Boy
Scott,
Meets
that doesn't
World.
mean you had sex.
He hit it
Oh,
during
come
Boy Meets
on.
World on their wedding night.
No, they
There was
IVF'd.
Speaking of wives that never listen, hi Jenna.
Oh shit! Great timing.
All right.
I got one for you though. I do have
Okay.
one here. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park. I want to see them actually play basketball. And I don't know
It's
if
funny
that
because
counts.
when you said that,
That's
I was
good.
like, you said the creators of, and I was like, basketball. Yeah, let's go with the sport that they actually created.
I would love to see that. I
Yeah.
also would love to see
I mean, how
them
great
as
would
a.
that be?
I would love to see them as a doubles tennis team. That would be a solid doubles tennis
Oh my
match.
god! Wait, them versus the Williams sisters.
Yes, that would be a
That'd be
great matchup.
fantastic.
Also, they would just be doing psych outs from baseball the whole time.
They
I
would
wanna
also
see-
raise
I-
a ton of money for charity.
I want to see the two of them play against Kim and Kanye. So we can get the fish dicks episode. Like
Oh, God.
we can get that hammered out because Kanye's still mad about
Look,
that.
I'm gonna be honest though. I do love fish sticks.
Scott,
I
who's
do.
your,
Every
who's your
Halloween,
next
that's what we eat.
celebrity?
My next celebrity, sticking with the MCU, is Chris Hemsworth. He's from Australia, and I want to see that dude play some rugby. I mean,
Oh, that's a good
that's
one.
the sport there, so I'm going with Chris Hemsworth.
That's
and
a sport there. You could have gone with Australian rules football. That would have been a much better
No.
choice. But yeah, you're
No,
gonna go.
no.
You're gonna go rugby.
Oh,
Okay.
We should talk some Aussie rules football, but not tonight.
I'll go. And you know what, Scott? I don't know if you're gonna pick up on this, but I am also kind of going with a theme here. I want Carl Winslow from Family Matters to be a
Going with
hockey
the
goalie.
TGIF theme.
Yes.
I like it.
Yes, I want Carl Winslow as a hockey goalie. I want him to, but I don't want him to wear the new age hockey stuff. I want him old school, like Jason Mask. Yeah, just
Yes.
standing in there, and then like
Yes.
after he stops, when he just gives us a lecture about being growing into
Saying no
our
to
time.
drugs.
Yeah,
There's
just
a good
just like you're an adult now. You need to grow up.
But more importantly, more black hockey players.
Yes,
I like it.
exactly.
I like
Another
it.
guy
That's what
you
we're
won't
talking about.
remember
Do
the
that
name of.
hockey.
Yes,
So
another.
I got another one, and so I did prep for this. I just had scrolled to the other part of the notes, so that's my bad. But so Mike, you gave me a little bit of inspiration. What I was gonna say previously was I would love to see Keira Knightley play soccer, like she did in Bennett. Like Becca, shit, I'd like to see half that cast play soccer. But then your Carl
Put
Winslow.
your dick away, please.
I mean, you can tell me to put it away now, but things happen.
No, there's a reason I said that.
Oh, I know. I'm okay with it. She knows what she got into.
No, not that. I'm just my next one is very much in the same vein.
Oh, okay, that's fair. But to bring it back around a little bit, I was gonna say actually I would have loved to see the entire Mighty Ducks play hockey. Now, but I would want to see it then because, like, let's be honest, I don't want to see Goldberg try to do anything other than
Poor Goldberg.
and
Yeah.
I don't want to see Goldberg do anything but meth these days because apparently that's what he's best at.
R.I.P. Goldberg.
Oh,
Jesus.
God.
Scott,
Why don't
who's
you
your
just put the syringe in his arm already?
who's
Fuck
your
you.
next one, Scott? You asshole.
Moving
Good
on.
Lord. Good
Sticking
Lord.
in the same vein as Mookie.
Sticking in the same vein. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, right. Oh my God.
14.5% is coming in.
Here we go. 200 boys.
You made
No,
me fall
no,
out of fame. You made me fall out of fame laughing. That's not fair to flip that script.
Like I was saying, sticking in the same vein, I wanted to go with Scarlett Johansson playing volleyball because
Heyo. Against Tom
Scarlett Johansson playing volleyball. That's all I got.
I'm gonna go with Balky from Perfect Strangers playing soccer. I just feel like he's a solid.
It's the best. I thought my MCU theme was good, but you're killing it.
Balky would be pretty solid. And then he like his goal celebration, he just runs up. He's like Kusen Larry, and he gives somebody a hug, and they do the weird dance.
Oh, that's good.
I'm not gonna top that, so let me just go through the other ones. I want Mr. Cooper actually playing for the Warriors, and I want T and Tamara Mowry to play a doubles tennis tournament against the Williams
Dude,
sisters.
T and Tamara coming back to Netflix, baby.
Well, more importantly, Tia and Tamara for the second week in a row getting referenced on the show.
For good reason. We
Welcome to
support
Craft Fruit
diversity
Sports
here.
Sister. This is where we break down every episode of Sister.
Oh my God, yes. All right. I got my last one here.
All right, go for it.
I want to watch Samwise Gamgee play football.
I don't know
College
who that is, so
football.
that sounds good. Cool.
Rudy.
Rudy, yes.
Oh, cool.
Sean
also
Astin.
known as Samwise Gamgee from friggin' Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, you went. You could have gone with this Goonies. You could have gone with the Goonies reference,
Goonies
but you
has
went.
respect. Samwise, he was that little cuck that just like dongled on Frodo's balls the whole time. Samwise playing college football.
Oh man, that was Scott. You got any more on this one?
Yeah. So
I was gonna say Scott hadn't entered the chamber yet, and yes,
gonna
Matt
say,
Barr, he would get wrecked. That's the point.
I've got two more to wrap up the MCU theme. I've got Tom Holland, and you'd be like, "What the hell is Tom Holland gonna play?" And I want him to be my
Or
John.
who is he?
Tom
Spider-Man.
Holland is Spider-Man.
Even
you
I
son of
know
a
that,
bitch.
bro, and I haven't
Good
seen it yet.
God.
Come
What
on,
the hell
man.
is wrong with you?
No, what? No.
He is my John
Tobey
Stockton.
Maguire is
So
Spider-Man.
be quiet. You're done. Tom Holland is going to be my John Stockton and play my point guard in basketball. And
Did you mute him? You muted. I thought the audio cut it out. I was like, oh damn, what happened? I was like, did we just lose the feed? You muted him on his last one. He's got the walk off.
Why
Come
is it
on.
not unmuting? That won't unmute him.
Oh,
I got the option.
Oh, there you go. That's
Son
all
of a
right.
bitch.
Nice. Good work.
and then as my final one, I'm going with Chadwick Boseman, none other than Black Panther. And
Nice.
you kind of already stole my thunder. Like, I would go with Tom Holland as my point guard in basketball, and most people would be like, "Oh, Chadwick Boseman." But I'm going with Chadwick Boseman to play center in hockey because we need more Black people playing hockey. Damn it!
Yes, sir. You know what? I actually love to see play hockey. It's probably an enforcer role, but LeBron. Could you imagine him checking someone in the boards? Their
I
life would
can't
be
imagine
over.
him skating 10 feet without falling over. So no.
Well, you only have to skate like 5 feet, and then your momentum can kind of just carry you the rest of the way if you coast. You know what I'm saying?
That's fair.
all right, let's do. You guys want to do the dream foursomes? You want to hit those up? Okay, cool. Dream and nightmare foursome. So this was an idea that was floated by our good friend Matt Barr last week, actually, but we didn't have time to get to it. And since we're way over, anyways, who cares? Let's do it
Who
this
gives
week,
a
right?
shit?
Let's do
Hey,
it.
it's a 200th episode, man.
Episode 200, baby. We do what we got to
You
do.
get extra content for this 200th episode.
Yeah, it's episode 200, so we do what we got to do. You know what I'm saying?
We'll throw it back to when we went 3 hours on this bitch. We don't
Oh
care.
damn, we did
I
go
listened
3
to every
hours.
one of those dumbass hours.
Why did
Do
we
you
do
remember
that?
We
Good
we would be
lord.
still going for an hour and 20 minutes on this show. Holy shit.
But in all honesty, if we didn't try to set a deadline, we probably would still be arguing over whether or not athletes should be paid. We'd still be in stick to sports at this point in the
That's
episode.
true.
So it's still in our genes. All right, so Matt Barr wanted to throw out this
I got
happened
something
because
else in my jeans too. What?
weird. Anyways, Matt Barr said last week Brett Favre played golf with Donald Trump, and he was like, "Okay, so this makes me want to know who is your dream golf foursome and your nightmare golf foursome. Like, who's the foursome? So it's you and 3 people, dream scenario and nightmare scenario. So Scott, let's go to you first. We'll start with the dream scenario. Who is your dream golf foursome? You and who else?
This was easy. 3 other people, no problem. My first is Bill Murray.
Good choice.
He's an avid golfer, Bill Murray. BFM with his golf thing. I'm going with Bill Murray. I got to go with MJ because, I mean, it's fucking MJ. So, I mean, he'll.
Good luck,
know,
brah.
Yeah, he'll roast me and, and do all those other things. Plus, I can just fawn over him. And then lastly, I'm going with BC, Bill Clinton. Because, I mean, if I'm going to have a foursome, I might as well have Bill Clinton in there to tell me all the state secrets. So Bill Clinton, Michael Jordan, and Bill Murray.
You know Bill would be like, this isn't my best foursome I've ever been in.
Exactly. And that's what I'm there for. He would say that right off the tee. He'd be like, this isn't even the best foursome I've ever been in today.
Wait, hang on. We got a rap air horn queued up here because Scott says nightmare foursome has to be us 3 and him. Yep. It's a pretty nightmare foursome right there. Drew, who is your dream foursome that you got?
My dream foursome, and I wrote this assuming I would play, but I got a 5th here because there's also a part of me that just want to sit there and drink the whole time and let them play golf because then I just get to drink and eat hot dogs. And again, I'm gonna get roasted, but whatever. Thierry Henry, now coach, I think, of the New York Red Bulls in the MLS, but an Arsenal legend. just hearing his stories from the way that they ruled Europe for that period in the late 90s, early 2000s. Avengi Malkin, admittedly, I know a weak point because he plays for the Penguins, but I mean, that dude, he cracks me up. Like, he is just a goof with all kinds of athletic talent.
I thought it was Evgeny.
I thought so too.
Did you say Afghani?
No, Evgeny, like
Evgeny.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
that's not what you said, Drew.
Yeah, that's not what you said at all. Like,
clearly we've established earlier I'm drunk. So I mean,
yeah, I was gonna say, should we bring that back?
Avengi.
I feel like you
bring it back. Yeah, you said
this is that bullshit where it's like, is it milk or malt?
Hockey name, you idiot.
Yeah, it's all right though. I'm okay with it.
That's like calling someone Patrick Subban, you moron.
No, dumbass. I didn't call him a different name. I just mispronounced it. Oh, by the way, suck a dick, JB. That's right. Habs 3-3 with your pens. What you gonna do now, son?
Who is the last one in this foursome, Drew?
John Daly, because someone's got to buy the booze.
Yep. Good call. So there's a theme.
Well, no, I did have a curveball fifth though. Is that if I'm just the one driving the cart and drinking beers, Michael Jordan. Because I mean, how funny would that be? Like, that would just be a blast.
He's in everybody's foursome.
That's a good call. Matt Barr saying his dream foursome is Larry Bird, Jerry Rice in the Popeyes helmet, and 50 Cent. And then Biscuit saying his dream foursome.
That's a dig at me with the Popeyes.
Yeah, it is. And then Biscuit saying his dream foursome is Barkley, Bill Murray, and Dwayne Johnson. That's a pretty stellar one. Gabe saying Barkley, Shaq, and Curry. Oh man, Curry's he's got that holy moly show. That dude can golf right there. All right, here's my dream foursome. I'm gonna go with I'm gonna put John Daly in there because John Daly's a golfer who drinks a lot of beer. I'm gonna go Wade Boggs because he is also a dude who drinks a lot of beer. And then I'm going to go Charles Barkley because he's not good and he can probably drink a lot of beer. And we're going to go the way I played in college where we get a case of booze and a case of balls, and whichever one is gone first, we're done. Like, that's it. If you run out of balls, all right, cool, we're done. We're going to go drink the rest of these beers. If you run out of beers first, all right, we're out of beers. Let's go. It's only the 12th hole. Who cares? Fuck it. Let's move on. That's my dream foursome right there. Nightmare foursome, Scott. Who is your nightmare foursome?
45 inspired this, so if he's anywhere near the course, he is in my foursome nightmare. And then you'd bring along Derek Jeter and his COVID. That would be a very big nightmare. And then for my final in my foursome, if there was anybody that I would absolutely not want to see show up walking through that door besides Derek Jeter and 45, it would have to be Mookie. What do you got for me?
Love you too, dickhead. It's fine.
Mookie, who is your nightmare?
I didn't say you. I said, what do you got for me? I was just leaving it there.
Scott, I know what you're going with, and I find that very rude and deeply cutting. After all I've done for you, God.
Who is your nightmare foursome, Drew?
To be fair, I wouldn't want to drink Blake off the either, Scott. I respect that decision. My nightmare four would be Patrick Waugh because he's a bitch. Zac Efron because he's a bitch. Carson Palmer, Reggie Bush, because they're both bitches. I don't even give a fuck. Like, they could be there, sit together like Siamese twins, individual. I don't give a fuck. They're both bitches. Nothing want to do with any of them. Fucking assholes. And then the last one would be LeBron, just because he would bitch the whole time about everything. Like, is this water distilled? Has this grass been properly groomed? Like, does this filter make me look good in this light when I take this Insta shot? And I know I'm way over the limit of a foursome, but
yeah, this is like a whole. It's a whole
like,
shotgun
but you know
start.
when like you go to the course and you're there as a single, and they try to pair you up with folks, and like if these people were there or any mix of them, I'd be like, nah, I'm gonna go bowling. Michael Jordan, because there's also a part of it where it would suck ass. Because the next thing I know is that he would bet and win all of my money, all of my assets, my wife, my life, my family, and
you'd be
I'd
screwed,
be homeless.
bro.
Do you want to know my actual fourth?
Yes, I do. I really do. I was gonna come back to it after me.
As long as it's not me.
Employee number 24, because he might force me to do something I don't want to do. Go ahead, Mike.
I have no idea what the hell that means.
That bar said his nightmare foursome is LeBron, Jim Nance, and Mike Florio. That one sounds terrible.
Mike understands what I was getting at.
I got you. Scott saying if people who are dead count, then Bobby Heenan, Rodney Dangerfield, and Harry Carey. Oh, that's a dream foursome right there. Oh, okay. That's he said, how fun would that be? No, he said how fun would that be? That would be amazing to have Bobby Heenan, Rodney Dangerfield, and Harry Carey.
Rodney Dangerfield and Harry Carey would probably just get lost in infinite loop of trying to outdo each other, and golf would never get played.
Oh, it'd be the best.
And you'd run out of beer on the tee box farthest away from the clubhouse with the beer cart. Like,
Biscuit saying nightmare is 45, Tom Brady, and anyone either from the Cardinals or the Yankees, and then
especially Molina.
Yeah, that he's got COVID. He's got the COVID. All right, here's who I'm going with for my nightmare. I'm gonna go with Ben Roethlisberger because he's a rapist. I'm gonna go with
Timo Van Olenhoffen.
I would say is your theme for this one just sports rapists? Because it's gonna be hard to narrow down that field, Mike.
Well,
That's
it's
why
actually
I said employee number 24.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. He did because that was gonna be my theme, so now I'm just gonna go with that, and I'll go OJ. OJ. Here's the problem with golfing with.
I would love to play with OJ.
He got acquitted.
Here's the problem with golfing with OJ. Here's the problem. He's a murderer, but also he would probably beat you. So you lose to a murderer. Like, that's double whammy right there, right?
And he'd pull the whole like, oh crap, man, I can't find my wallet. Can you get this green fee for me?
Oh man, he would totally screw you over.
Yeah.
So
and then he'd buy you a hot dog at the turn and be like, we cool now.
We
right?
good,
like,
right?
Bitch,
We
no,
good.
this was $150 green fee. What the fuck you talking about? Buy me a $7 hot dog.
And then I would also I'd add Floyd Mayweather Jr. into that group just because I don't want to have to read the scorecard to him every time and be like, it's a par 4, Floyd. It's a par 4.
There it is. The falling off camera took till the end, but there it is. He said it's a par 4, Floyd. It's a par 4. Just the idea that you're getting more angry as the tournament, as the golf goes on. It's like, damn it, this son of a bitch, why did I have to play with someone who can't read?
Is it that you can't read? Or that at some point you're going to get your ass beat because you're going to yell at him for not knowing how to fucking read. And then Floyd knocks your ass out and his bodyguard just stand there and look at you bleed on the tee box.
Oh, God. Real tears.
Little column A, little column B there, Drew.
The dim sum approach, if you will. Scott, what a great way to start vacation, eh, buddy?
Oh, shit. All right. Let's get into last call because, good Lord, this show has gone on forever, and it is time for last call because we're
all
all
these idiots still watching with. I mean,
we're all
fans still
feeling
watching
great
with us.
Last call brought to you by More Labs. Look, if you are like any of us on the show, you like to drink during the week, and it's a problem. And you need to wake up in the morning. You need to
It's the
function.
only problem you get fired, Mike.
You need to deal with your kids. You need to go to work. But after you're pounding 14% beers all night long on a Wednesday, you got to still wake up and handle your business. So head on over to morelabs.com. Use the code SPORTS at checkout. Get 20% off your order. Get yourself some morning recovery. Booze all night long. Take a morning recovery. Before you go to bed, you're going to wake up feeling great. Guaranteed or your money back. Hit them up, morelabs.com. Use the code SPORTS. Get 20% off your entire order. All right, fellas.
All right, so wait, hold on. It's time for one of my weekly segments of Let's Pimp More Labs for what they do best, and that is make our lives better. So, like, you remember back in the day in college we used to take Adderall so we could do things? Well, More Labs is like a healthy, respectable option to that. So I did one of their
Liquid Focus.
Yeah, their Liquid Focus, and again, I got no kids for obvious reasons, and I just
don't have Liquid Focus.
No, because I have Liquid Focus. Because instead of spending quality time with my wife and figuring out how to make those kids, I spent 7 hours just crushing the Batman Arkham arc and destroyed all my high scores. And I'll tell you what, I've never had a better time. It is absolutely amazing because you dial into all the nuances and all the details, and you pick up on all those little extra clues too. Because I'll tell you what, man, those writers of that game, they know how to sprinkle shit throughout it. And if you're not paying attention or cheating online, which normally is my approach, you ain't gonna find them. But with More Labs, the Focus one that I clearly
Liquid
know how
Focus.
to say, Liquid Focus, thank you.
Got you.
You don't need cheat codes on mine because you just figure the shit out naturally.
But there you go. If you want to cheat at video games, morelabs.com, use the code SPORTS, get 20% off your order. This week, we had a bevy of beers. Drew, let's start with you. You were drinking Patisserie Neapolitan Stout on the Ren and Stimpy scale from no, sir, I don't like it, all the way to Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. Where did Neapolitan Stout rank for you?
It was good. It was solid. I gotta be honest. There's a part of me that didn't like it because it made me feel inadequate as a baker because it's based on a very fancy French cake that I clearly can't make. But I'm gonna go ahead and go with it was that thing that I was scrolling and then saved later, but is now scrolled out of view. The Lair of the Lummox. Just because that sounds cool.
Meanwhile,
I
I
was
was
sitting there
thinking that Neapolitan was based on the ice cream, so I was like, "What the fuck is he talking about baking?"
I know. I was
No,
like,
it's like it's
what?
it's
No,
it's-
I know exactly
Yeah.
what it is now, but I'm saying like when you first introduced the beer and earlier when you sent the picture, my first thought was, "Oh, Neapolitan, like the ice cream. Like, okay, it's gonna taste like a mix of chocolate, strawberry, and vanilla."
Scott, you guys drank this beer like 2 months ago.
I know, and it was delicious. It was big.
Yeah,
was
it was good.
Big fan.
So if I can, just to make that clear, I'd give it like a 4.25 out of 5.
But also that I was totally right. It is chocolate, strawberry. and vanilla.
It is,
yep.
yeah. Although I will say I didn't taste the Madagascar vanilla as much as just the general vanilla. So take that for what it's worth.
Scott, you were drinking Aggravated Murder. What is yours fall in from on the Ren and Stimpy scale from no, sir, I don't like it to Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy?
This ends up at the I got off on murder, the Ray Lewis scale. Happy, happy, joy, joy. Like I said when I first introed this beer, I have no idea if they were trying to make the reference with the Ravens in the logo to Ray Lewis and Aggravated Murder, but at 14.5%, it doesn't matter. Like it's one of
Bless
those.
you,
Thank
Drew.
you, Mookie.
My bad.
It's one of those beers that you forget what it tastes like. It's a really good stout, but I mean the taste is lost in all the booziness. But it's not a booziness that scares you off. It's a sneaky 14.5% if ever there was one. So I absolutely recommend it. Happy, happy, joy, joy. But man, it goes down really quickly, and then all of a sudden you're just left with, I'm really drunk, and I didn't really drink anything.
I didn't do it. But yeah.
Like it's just like if you had 2 of these, I'm pretty sure you'd just be passed out.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great way to spend a Thursday.
Hell yeah. I had Cloud Curtain
I might even spend a Wednesday
from
like that.
Mountains Walking Brewery.
Damn it, I was wondering about that, Mike.
Not as high of an ABV, but I also had 2 of the. Oh, Drew also drinking
Yeah.
that. It's so on the Ren and Stimpy scale from no, sir, I don't like it all the way to Happy, Happy, Joy, Joy. I would have to give this one a Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman. It's solid. It's a good one. It'll stick with you. It's not the greatest that I've ever seen. I was interested about this oat whip and a great mouthfeel on this brew.
You mean oat whip?
Whip, yes. Oat whip is solid. It's nice pillowy, but it also wasn't anything different than a crazy other hazy IPA that I've had. But it's solid. It's a good beer. It's got great flavor. So I would give it a Royal Canadian Kilted Yaxman on the scale. This has been Last Call, again, brought to you by More Labs. Morelabs.com. Use the code SPORTS for 20% off your entire order. Did I vamp well enough to get to where I could find the sound cue?
Absolutely.
I felt like I did that pretty solid.
I do want to know how much Ren and Stimpy have you guys seen? 'Cause
A lot.
I wasn't allowed to watch when I was a kid.
I was also banned for
course
watching
you
it when I was a
weren't.
kid. No, I was banned
No,
too, but I watched it anyways.
Okay, well, see, here's the thing about Ren and Stimpy. So, Mom and Dad never said anything about it, but there was one day when I was watching an episode with my brother, and I can't remember if they went underneath a big toenail or they did something
Yeah.
absurdly gross. And I remember sitting there watching, thinking, I can't watch this anymore. This is like ridiculous. Like, it wasn't even like this is wrong. Like, it was like, I don't like this. It's gross. And so I stopped watching it.
Dude, it was so disgusting.
It was never obscene or sexual. It's just gross.
Yeah, but I was gonna say until that point though, I watched it unfiltered. Like, we watched it all the time. And then it, like, when I realized in that moment, I was like, wait a minute, this is what they do? Like, this is like an adult thing? Like, it just got really weird, and I couldn't never go back.
Like, it's gonna be so good on Netflix in like 1080p.
Oh,
4K,
I mean, I'm totally here for a reboot.
Like, it's gonna be fan-fucking-tastic.
Guys, speaking of fantastic, this has
200 episodes.
This has been a fantastic show. This has been a damn good time. The only thing missing tonight was Joe.
So, but before we sign off, I do want to take a quick moment to recognize the work y'all have put into this, and by y'all, I mean you, Mike, and you, Scott, to making this a brand, making it a show, doing that CBS for 200 episodes, because this shit ain't easy. You know, you take time out of your families, you take time out of your work. And, you know, as a former listener and now dumbass that gets to run his mouth on here for however many hours a week until my wife tells me to stop or my work fires me, it's been a pleasure. It was always a highlight of my week previously. Like, I was pissed when you guys took a week off because, I don't know, you wanted to have lives or like have a vacation with your family, or, you know, stuff came up. And I was like, well, what the fuck am I going to do at work on Monday now? You know what I mean? Like, you want me to actually work and pay attention? But,
I remember getting dirty text messages from not dirty, nasty. Nasty is the right word, not dirty. A dirty
another dick pic from Drew.
God damn it, Drew! I'm sorry we took a week off.
Though, like,
sorry we took a week off. Don't show me your balls.
And you know, testicle photos
secretly
aside,
show me your balls.
But seriously, like, get a better angle, bro.
There's a lot of people out there that this show means a lot to, and like, we appreciate it, and you know. It's been tough, and we're going to keep clawing our way out. We're going to find our niche, but at the same time, you know, I love our fans we have now, and we're sorry we keep disappointing you, but you keep going back, so that's fantastic.
Drew, you've been a great addition, man. We're glad to bring you into the family and get you into the show. And in all seriousness, like, every time we hit one of these milestones, I always do like some speech about how awesome it is and how grateful we are. But in all seriousness, like, Scott, when you and I sat down at B-Dubs and we're like, hey, let's finally do this podcast. Like, let's do this thing. Let's put this out there. We were like, we'll do 2 shows a month. We'll go back and forth to each other's house. And now we're doing live video on YouTube, Facebook, and Periscope. Like, it's grown to this thing that we never thought we would, like, we never could have pictured this. So to do this for 200 episodes it's pretty fucking cool, man. Like, this is it's the highlight of my week every week. Like, this is what I look forward to every single week, is like, I can't wait for Wednesday so that we can do the show. So whether there's 100 people watching or 1 person watching, like, I just enjoy hanging out with you guys and getting drunk and doing bullshit. Like, that's kind of what it is. Well,
and I mean, just to piggyback off that sentiment, not that long ago, the reminder of the B-Dubs sit down came up in Facebook memories, and I reflected on it a little bit then, just to think about where this has gone and where it's ended up. And I really want to thank you, Mike, because you're the only one who has been here for all 200 episodes. There's been various reasons that I haven't been here, and you've carried the ball from the word go. And I just want to thank you for that. I want to thank all of the listeners. Mookie, I want to thank you for being such a huge supporter and now part of the show. It's been great with you being on it. And I hope that we make it 200 more. I know that there's a lot of frustration sometimes with how little we've grown, and we're not nearly where we want to be. But at the same time, man, never thought that we'd make it 200 episodes, and I'm really happy that we did. And I'm looking forward to the next 200. No matter how many people are listening or watching, thank each and every one of you for every second that you've listened to the show and shared it and all that fun stuff. And I just really appreciate you, Mike, for making this happen, because it's absolutely all on you that we've made it 200 episodes, even if I was a Robin to your Batman along the way. Well, with that being said, then I apologize to the listeners for 200 of
200 episodes of me. You had to listen to me for 200 episodes, and I'm sorry for that. We'll figure it out for the next 200. We'll get somebody better to run this.
We'll do what we can, right? Like, we're not going to stop trying.
Guys,
it's going to get better, but we're going to keep trying.
This was a long-ass episode, but it was a fun-ass episode. I really
It was
do.
a throwback episode.
It really was. This was a good time.
And we didn't go 3 hours, so you're welcome.
We could have. We totally could have. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. Thank you for sharing out the show. We honestly, you guys don't know how much I appreciate every share. Every time we see somebody comment in the Facebook group, every time we see somebody comment on our posts or retweet us or whatever, it really means a lot. And you don't understand how much that helps the show. So continue to do that. Follow the show on Twitter and Instagram at Craft Sports. You can subscribe to the YouTube channel. Scott's doing some good things, cutting up the videos, giving you some segments like doing that hockey. So be sure to subscribe, hit that bell, make sure you know when we go live
Check out
there.
that doing that hockey from last week too, man. This is priceless.
Gold. Subscribe, rate, and review wherever you get your podcasts. I know we've transitioned to a video format, but we do still put it out there. So hit us up wherever you get your podcasts. Leave a rating, leave a review. That helps boost us up in the ratings. We want to continue to see the show grow for another 200 episodes, and we can't do that without your help. So thank you guys so much for tuning in every single week. We really appreciate it. And we'll see you guys next week. Cheers, everybody.
Peace. We
Here's
out.
200 more, baby.